Hi guys, hope you're doing well. What's the crack? Just can't they both lose? That's all about that. Ian, can they both lose? They can both draw, I suppose, Ian. They can both draw. Daz is coming on in a minute, Bohs fan, and he's there waiting on the wings. And Craig is coming on as well. So there's that now. First, Bohs team. Has that been announced?
It has. How are you, Keith?
Finally.
I'll name out the Bohs team here now.
Go for it, yeah.
In goals as ever, James Talbot.
Yeah.
Andy Lyons, Carwall, Finnerty, Wilson in the backs. Coote and Buckley holding. Tierney's playing just ahead of them. On the wings, we have Bert and Ward, and up front, it's Georgie Kelly.
Very good. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think on paper it's probably the best team that we have.
Take these out, actually. Hang on.
I don't see how they could really get a team with that. That's the team, yeah. There's not really more I would say.
Yeah, interesting because there hasn't been. Well, obviously they've rotated, haven't they, Daz, as well?
Yeah.
You know, the rotation against Sligo, and it's weird when the performance was good against Sligo, but Sligo's quality, I felt, to be honest, and you know, it was a risky thing maybe against a team like Sligo. But then thinking, what do you do? Do you rotate this weekend? But then again, you need to rotate. There's all those things that come into effect, aren't there? What's your thoughts?
That's the thing, yeah. And like, you know, it was a big call rotating against Sligo. Like, you're probably going to back yourself more against Sligo than maybe on paper or Rovers. I know this is the kind of game where anything can happen on the night, and form kind of does go out the window with this kind of a game, in my opinion. But look, he probably wanted the players to be more fresh tonight and more up for it. So I can see his thinking, and you know, another day that game could have ended as a draw. Like, we'd be thinking that was a good thing to rotate the team around, get a point there, and be able to have a strong team on against Rovers. So I could see his thinking, but look, it just didn't work out on the night, and we lost. Like, but look, we may move on from that. It's all about tonight now. So hopefully the players put a real shift in now and show why they should be in the team and really put it to Rovers. But missing the fans tonight, it's going to be like missing an extra player for us. I think we're that kind of team. We need the fans there. This kind of the game.
I think it takes away from the game. Generally, doesn't it? Generally, fans take away from games. But Shamrock, Rovers, and Bohs. Kean mentioned on the preview show, the other day as well, that sometimes these can be poor games between Shamrock, Rovers, and Bohs. But the fans and the atmosphere and all that comes into it and really makes it like we're missing that now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big thing too, isn't it?
We sure are. Like, for sure, the fans really make the atmosphere for these kind of games. And, you know, by not having them there, the game could be, you know, it could be a poor game, like, because it's all about the night, really. Hi, Craig. What's crack? How are you?
All right, Daz. Sorry, Keith.
You can hear us well and stuff. Welcome, anyway. I'll go to Craig actually there quickly. If you the Shamrock Rovers team, Craig, I did see it, but if you name it out.
Yeah, Manus obviously still in nets. Hart, Lopez, and Grace is our centre backs. Grace 100 appearance tonight is his 100 appearance. Cavo's out. He's in a knee brace. He's been out since the start of the game. Got a bad injury in that game. So Scales is our left wing back tonight. Gannon is our right wing back, coming off good form the past two games. Watts is probably going to be playing the box-to-box midfielder role tonight with McCann sitting in the deep line midfielder role, with Mandrew in the cam and Bork playing just off the green of top.
What do you think yourself? What's your general opinions on that? Happy?
The only thing we change is to have Gary O'Neill in that midfield. That's the only thing. Because I look at last season and I look at the season before that when Gaz came in and the good run of form we got in them games, purely down to Gaz pickpocketing any of that good players. Like, granted, the two games over last year, Mandrew in the year before that in the Cup semi-final and the game in Tala, like, he was there to pickpocket that players, and I'm looking at Liam Burton that also is, and I'm not going to lie to you, he goes straight fair into me when it looks like we have Cabo out. That I'd like someone like Gary O'Neill that'd be able to pocket him.
He does like that. I suppose we have to talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak. That's Danny Andrew. This is his first derby.
Oh, don't get.
Now, I will say this though, he's probably looking for this Atlantic Dollars of this game. Or it's a daily man, like, you know what I mean? So he gets eased into it. But I just wonder, you reckon Bohs will be thinking about that, lads? Or will they kind of go, look, we just have to watch him as a player?
Well, for me, if the fans were there, he'd be getting a hard time, and it'd be interesting to see how he would deal with the pressure of the fans from us getting at him and intimidating him and getting in his face. And, that's not going to be there tonight. There's no fans, so. He's going to be playing with his players around him, and he's going to want to get one back at Bohs for not getting into the team last year. And he's just going to want to get back at Bohs, and he's a player we're going to have to watch. Let's be real about it. He's in sensational form, and he is a top player on his day. Let's be real about this. He is he's a top player. He is and we're going to have to really mark him out of the game and keep him out. And he's a good player for Rovers. He's excellent. He's a very good player. And but I'm every confidence in Bohs that we'll get results tonight, and we're going to be at them. We're going to be in their face, and we're going to try and get results as best we can.
I don't think so.
He's going to be good crack. Yeah, the watch manager against Drogheda obviously close up. I was looking up to be there. They brought manager on, McCann on, and Burke on. And in that game, Drogheda just must have thought, they're off doing well for. Have any of you got something on in the background, guys? Maybe just turn it down a little bit, because I think it's a bit of interference. There.
That might be my telly for the Rovers game.
Is that all right? Is it?
Yeah.
You can hear myself back or something. It's weird. But what was I saying? Danny Mandry, yeah. No, seriously, they brought in Mandry, Burke, and McCann, and you're thinking, fucking hell, you know what I mean? 20 minutes to go in the game, they're already bollocks, and you have to deal with those three coming on off the bench,
if you look at the bench tonight, you still have seasoned veterans of the league. You have Ronan Finn, who's a club legend at Rovers, on the bench tonight. I'm actually surprised he's not starting because he usually does well against Bohs. You have Gary O'Neill, probably the second best holding midfielder in the league. You have Rory Gaffney, a fine striker on his day, and he has 2 in the past. He scored 2 goals in 2 games. There is, and fair enough, there is a few young lads on our bench, like Adamino Maku, and you have Max Murphy and a few other young lads. But that, compared to last season on the bench where we had one player and then a bunch of youngsters, we've really bolstered up that the bench that we can have good players on the pitch while having a few in reserve to bring on, a bit like Dundalk last season and the season before that.
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird for Rovers in that one. I do think it's starting 11 is slightly weaker because you take out Byrne and McInerney. You're talking about top players in the league, so it has to be slightly weaker. Will be slightly weaker, but their squad's stronger. Bohs are similar in a way, but Bohs haven't found a formula yet. Rovers still have a formula, if you get me, under Bradley.
Just on your point there, Craig, about your bench being so strong, like it is. This is Bohs' bench for tonight, and just on paper, if you're going to look at players on paper, you can see the difference. This is the bench for Bohs: McGuinness, Breslin, Feely, Kieran Kelly, Livingston, Devine, Matton, Mylan, Omasheri. Good young players, but they're not seasoned pros like what Rovers have on their bench, and that's the difference.
Now, Daz, you don't mind me asking, outside of McGuinness, who's obviously had games in both Premier and First Division, who's the most seasoned player out of that bench? Because I'm just hearing a bunch of young lads named Promise, Martin, all them lads are youngsters.
Promise is very young. He's very young. He's coming into the team this year. Matton, very young. Devine, Irish under 21, good player, very young. Livingston has been in our team. He'd probably be the next, that'll be up there. Kieran Kelly, he's still very young too, but he probably has a good few games played. I say you're looking at Breslin and Feely, probably be our most senior players on that bench in terms of games played at a senior level.
I'm going to say something here, and I'm not even joking when I say this. I was saying this to mates in school and all today, that Mandrew will probably score. If it does become a 1-0 game, Mandrew scores. But I do expect Mandrew to get sent off. Because I just think the Bohs players will roll him up that much that he's just going to win with a stupid tackle.
I don't know. Without a crowd, it might be a little bit different, though.
I was going to say that too. Like without a crowd, without a crowd, you're not going to really have that kind of oomph to try and get in people's faces. And if he was in front of the crowd and everyone got in his face and went boo or whatever, that might push him on to do something worse or do something good like. And that's not going to be there tonight, unfortunately.
Here's one for you, Daz, as well. As I talk my popcorn. Looks like Pats are going to be Finn Harp. So as it stands, Pats are actually 10 points ahead of Bohemians, which is mental.
At the start of the season, I think I said Teokite, and I did say it.
The face when I pointed that out. No, really, a draw technically is okay for Bohs tonight, but we'll still leave them 9 points behind Pats and potentially behind the likes of Sligo and obviously Shamrock Rovers too, who expect to go the distance. But even though it's the Pats and Sligo having a lead like that in Bohs, it would be big even this early.
That's huge.
I remember saying to you, Keith, I was talking to you about it over the past few weeks and all that. I wrote Pats off to start the season. I didn't think he's going to do great. But I'm just looking at the squad now and I'm looking at the likes of Benson and Mountney. I didn't think they'd pull that weight in the air. And I'm looking at young lads like Dara Burns in that squad that I think is a great player. And they're all gelling together. Now, one thing that surprised me is because I remember Mountney being as more midfielder, him playing right back. It really surprised me when he went in.
He was playing at right wing back actually at Dundalk and doing well, so transfer. But he's just reverted to right back. But I thought the same, to be honest with you as well. But having said that, still very early in the season. But it would be a big gap to have other goals and one that Bohs wouldn't have expected. And there's still a long way to go. You're 36 games, but it depends. Like Bohs' ambitions has to be trying to get into Europe. Let's be honest. Shamrock Rovers is to win the title.
I'm just looking at a comment here.
It's still it's a long way to go in this season. It's a very long way to go. And the games that we lost to start the season, you would have written them in as wins for Bohs. You would have. It was Finn Harps, it was Longford. They should have been 2 wins and they weren't. We should have been up there by now and we're not. And that's the reality of the situation. The boys didn't get the win. They didn't turn up on the day. The teams, Longford came out. They got a point out of us. We weren't playing well. We weren't at races. Keith Long changed the 3 at the back. There was an awful lot of player changes, team changes. It was so different, and to be this far behind Pats and Sligo, it's very disappointing for a Bohs fan. But I think we all need to understand too that we probably were a bit overachieving the last few years with the budget we were on and the players that we had. And we were really we were in a place that we probably really shouldn't have been, barred a few individuals that we had. And every season for Bohs, we keep losing our best players every season. Don't mind anyone going to the UK, I've said this already, but losing players in the league is poor. We need to start keeping players and keeping the team together. And this season looks like it could be the one now, probably where it won't work out. But look, it's a long season to go. There's so many games. There's so many games left.
I don't mean to be harsh when I say this though, Daz, but you look at the Bohs squad, they're fully capable. Even with the likes of Grant gone, I know Wright was good for his last year, Corcoran's gone up to drop there, but that squad's fully capable of doing what they done last year. There's no real fair enough. Danny Grant was a standout player, and he was probably one of the league standout players last year and the year before that. But the fact is, that squad, you have James Talbot in goal, who's probably Ireland. He's probably the future for Ireland. If he goes back out to England, he'd probably be in the Ireland squads. You have your left and right backs are 2 of the strongest in the league. Your centre backs aren't half bad. Keith Buckley and Ali Coote, I think, are 2 great players. Liam Port's after coming in from Scotland, and he's another great player. So I'm just looking at the squad and I'm just thinking to myself, fair enough, lads don't gel, and it is only a few games in, but this that Bohs squad, as much as I hate to say it, is fully capable of challenging anyone in this league.
Oh, absolutely. We still have the likes of Bashir Hiri on his day, who will be one of the top players on his day when he can find the pass and create a goal. And
yeah, but I feel not getting him. Seriously, I did. I really did. Anyway, go on.
But no, it's right in what you said. We have recruited, okay again. It's just the players we lost were serious players first. They scored all our goals. We lost we lost Fodderk as well throughout the season, which was our 2 pacey wingers gone. You had Danny Corcoran, who I know he wasn't really getting in last season, but he'll get a goal. he's gone too. And you're right.
It's the chemistry that's gone, and they need to find a new chemistry. That's the point. We have good players like Liam Burke has come in, and that was a cracking goal against Sligo the other day. If young players like Tierney's and the boys, Tierney's done very well so far. But in balance. The problem for Bohs is maybe the problem for Bohs. They might spend half the season trying to find that balance, and it might be too late by the time they find it. Potentially. That said, if there was somehow to nick a win at Rovers tonight, and no one is saying they're going to win, by the way. That's the interesting point as well. If they did win tonight, though, it'd be a massive boost for them, to be honest.
And yeah, it is. And what you said there is so true. Like, if we find a rhythm halfway through the season, but then lose 5 or 6 players again in the summer, that's poor. Like, you know, that needs a change in the club. Like, if we go half a season up and down in form, and then we lose our best players in the summer again, like that's where we are as a club, and that needs to change. So I really hope to change that anyway. And people saying Kevin Sheehy is, that's a bit of a mad one, a mad story. Waterford is in bits down there.
The board saw someone, by the way, that they're not gone, and apparently.
What's the story with Brian Murphy though?
Brian Murphy, there was rows. There's been rows all over the shop at Waterford. Basically, he had a row with Mike New. That's what happened, basically. And Mike New told him not to go. Mike New seems like a weird character, though. I don't know if you saw it. He was sending off the other day against Pats.
David Snoid had out. Was it about tape?
Different colour tape on socks or something like that.
I saw that in a group chat. Someone put it in. Was like, "What's the story here?" I was like, that can't be serious. And then you actually watch the video, and your man's giving an absolute uproar about the tape on the sock.
I think the referee actually said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Something like that.
The best product we ever took off Bohs there.
How confident are you, Greg?
I'm not comfortable. If I'm being honest, Keith, I'm dreading it. I am absolutely dreading it.
Fans, they're usually
beating
each other, though, are they? That's the funny thing.
No, Bohs could be bottom of the table, absolutely getting battered 6 and 7-0 every week. Play us and turn into prime Barcelona.
Well, they had a record for a while, didn't they, Bohs, where they didn't use
8 or 9 games, yeah, and then we won the one on the 29th or the 30th of August, 2019. We bet them 1-0. Graham Burke got a goal when they were chanting at me, you pressed them reject.
Actually, Graham Burke, glad you mentioned him. I think he's been a fabulous one this season. He was good last season, but I think since Jack Byrne and McInnes have gone, he's taken upon himself that he needs to even lift this game more. And I think you've noticed he's been more consistent in his performances actually throughout the game. He's been in and out of games, but this season I think has been really good. The way he picks up pockets and goes into positions, very difficult to watch to mark. I don't think they'll play like caption the telly. I don't think the manager will be right and Burke will be left at all. It'll be a positive field, I think.
I'm going to be honest, I think Burke's going to play off Greener because that's what he's been doing the past few games when it's been set up like that. That Burke will just play straight off Greener.
Play in centre of the field and Burke will play off Green.
A tribute to a true legend of the league, and that's a fact. Jerry Mackey, Lord rest him, died last Tuesday. He proper hoop and helped out, as I don't know if many people know this, but keeper was at Milltown Cram back in the 87 and 88 when we were thinking we might get Milltown back. Jerry played a huge part in that. David Mackey, I think is his son, is the opposition analysis for Bohs. So a great tribute from both sides, great men's silence, but he's a true legend of the league and part of probably, in my opinion, if you look back in history, the greatest League of Ireland side that was Colts. What's your thoughts going into the game, lads? What do you think's going to happen?
What do you think, Daz, actually, from a Bohs point of view? What do you think?
1-0 win, 90th minute. It's going to be a sloppy game and we'll nick it from a set piece and I'll take it and be delighted with
it. It's either going to be a 0-0 or a scrappy 1-0 win to us last minute job.
Yeah, Danny Manju.
Yeah. Before he came on, they're usually not great games, funny enough. The Bohs and Shamrock Rovers games in recent years.
It's a scrap. Like, that's what it's going to be. Let's be real about it. both teams are going to they're not going to play pretty football. They're going to want to try and get the win and do whatever they can to get the win, no matter how they're going to play. And that's what it's going to be about. It's only about the result tonight. That's all that matters.
Now, we might see a true Celta after saying that, who knows? But usually, and the fans great, the kind of atmosphere and everything. And obviously, with that loss, there was a game last year, Rovers that beat them 1-0, Bohs 1-0. Is that right? Lafferty got the winner. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a funny one. I was watching that game, and it was about 2 minutes in. We were watching on the old Watch LOI as it was on that. And my granda rang me dad, and we missed the goal. We missed Lafferty's goal, so we had to watch the game back then afterwards, because obviously with the Watch LOI there's no replays. So we had to wait till the game's over and watch the game back to see the goal in the first 3 minutes.
Unreal stuff.
Well, with no fans, I watched that and I just thought the game was tough, like, you know.
Hey, there's one player to watch out for this season. Liam Scales, an absolute great player. I'm going to put in now, I know a few Rovers fans have said this, Darren Glennon in particular, future Rovers captain if he stays on here.
If he stays.
I don't think he's gonna stay, but if he stays, that's a future Rovers captain.
Yeah.
He's a good player. He's a very good young player as well, and he can play a range of positions.
Exactly. He can even play the field if needs to, like.
Keith, what's your thoughts on Sean Horse so far for Rovers? Because I think he's been probably our best signing.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's played very well. He's played really well, actually. I think he's done better than Gannon, to be honest with you. I think Gannon's been a bit. I'm still not seeing the Sean Gannon of old to get quite yet. But Horror's an excellent player, yeah.
Here's someone I don't. Probably the player I hate most. Like, people find it funny a lot. If Dundalk fans are watching, they probably think I hate Pat Hoban the most. The player that I hate the most in the league, number 10 there for Bohs, I can't stand him. I'm not even gonna say the name because I can't stand the man.
Who's number 10? Daz.
I actually don't know that myself, believe it or not.
Because the numbers go off the head. Who?
Wardy.
What? Really? He was? Really? Yeah.
Well, there's multiple occasions breaking Sean Kavanagh's leg in this game 2 years ago.
Oh.
Come on, hit it!
Good save. Get rid of it!
Bookie, onto it. What's he? But this day 2 years ago we played Bohs, and the man who's refereeing the game tonight decided, you know what? I think I want a Bohs win, so he sent off Grace and Trevor Clark. Grace for something that hit him in the face, and Trevor Clark's still up for debate. It's still debated with a lot of Bohs fans and a lot of Rovers fans about it. Some people think it was a straight red. I don't think so, but the Grace one definitely wasn't. I was sitting directly behind where it hit Grace in the face, and I just remember a journalist in the League of Ireland, McDara Ferris, who works for Extra Time, was sitting just below me, and I was just bulling. I was bulling when that penalty was scored, because I thought, John, what, it shouldn't have even been a penalty because it hit him straight in the face. And I'm just hoping he doesn't start trying that again tonight.
I think that was one of those things, like things would kind of go with you and go against you in matches, and I think that's one of those things, it's look like, you have it and you don't have it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even, as much I blame McLaughlin for the Trevor Clark red card, but for the Grace one, no, I wouldn't. I blamed the linesman. He's shocking. Get out!
Oh.
He's off.
Sorry,
Daz, what's your thoughts on Ross Tierney?
I think he's a smashing young player, and the last 2 seasons he's been breaking his way into the team, and he started the last 2 games and he's slotting very well, and he doesn't look out of place in the team at all. He's got a great work rate, he can find the pass, he got a bit of skill, he's got some pace. I think he's going to develop into a smashing young player.
Is
like the way he box and links him up with Kelly and that. I like the way he does that. I can see him scoring goals this season. Actually, to be fair, he's got good energy, very good at pressing, isn't he?
Something that we need in the team. We need
pass. Go on, what's he?
Different to Dawson Devoy, isn't he? Dawson Boys footballer.
Get in, Greener! Hit it! Yes! Get in, Watty!
Lads, we have a goal. And there's no VAR.
And as you can you'll probably be able to tell, you won't even have to watch the game if you hear me shouting it's Rovers goal. That was a good ball in, but yeah, Scales, Talbot went to go for Greener, hits post, and Dilmots just cleared it up. Do you think it's early on, so I'm not going to say anything, but it's bad defending by Bohs.
It's a good start to the game. I know Bohs fans don't like that, Daz don't like to hear that. But it's a bit scrappy. Scales obviously get booked, and watch their hand knocking home. But another former Bohs player, by the way. It's a good start to the game, to be honest. 5 minutes in, have a goal. It means the Bohs now can't be too cagey. But they scored early last season, Shamrock here as well, didn't they? And won the game 1-0.
I'm just looking here. It actually looks like Borky's playing more out wide. And that's weird because Borky's usually in central with us.
Yeah. Essentially the collection wide, like, rather than a starting off position wide. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed with that start. You know, to be conceding so early, it's not ideal. Like, you know what? Fuck's sake, it's not ideal.
Right before that, Daz, with Burke getting in as well from the left hand side, by the way. So there seems to be that space, on Bohs right. Who's right back again, Lyons, isn't it?
Annie Lyons is, yeah.
I do wonder. I do think it's curious that they didn't play Feely because I think he's been excellent so far this season. To be honest, a bit more physical than Lyons as well, isn't he? But they're going for the left hand side again, Rovers. Like all their attacks have been on the left hand side. Like
They've been the first few, the first open few minutes have been on the left side. Yeah, trying to get in on that side. I think Talbot made a good save early on.
Yeah,
I'm going to be honest, Daz. For that goal, that was poor defending by Bohs because there was nobody there to close down Watts.
Like it's pretty much the same defence what we had last season, bar Casey and bar what's his name? He's another left back. Can't remember his name. Kirk. It's pretty much the same defence as last season. So there should be no excuses why the defendant's been so bad this season. There just simply shouldn't be. Same keeper, better full backs. We've got Wilson in the backs now too. Two good centre backs. It's poor.
It could be something in the midfield as well. Like there's a couple of new players in midfield there as well. Even Ross Tierney coming in is quite new as a regular type thing. You've got Ali Coop playing there. So the makeup of the midfield is different as well. So it could be a team thing as well. Craig is gone. I'm sure he'll be back soon. But it could be a team thing as well as a defensive team unit. It's sometimes difficult to say it's the defence as such.
It is like if the play keeps breaking down in the midfield, I've noticed too there's been like very big gaps between the defence and the midfield, and there's that pocket of space in between, and you know you've got players coming out to run a challenge, playing off the shoulder of defenders and overlapping, bringing one player away, and there's a big open space in the middle. Happened against Longford, I think it was, as well. So you know it's a team, like you said. You know they really need to start getting back out and doing the basics right. Look, here we are again, the left hand side.
Yeah, it's all the left hand side. So
we can't. If you exploit that too much, though, Bohs are going to get weary of it. So they can't keep on going down the same side. Look, I know it's going to work for the first 5-10 minutes, but after that, Bohs are going to get weary that we keep on going and attacking lines aside. So they're just going to heap it on that side. And I know, like you have players like McCann who can just switch the ball like that. But if he's going to have pressure on him, like I even look at the draw of the game. Fair enough, he played all right, but like even in the game before that against Longford, he wasn't great when he was put pressure on him.
Yeah.
How have you found Gannon this season for you so far?
He's been I love Finna, but he's been an improvement on Finna because he's an actual right back.
Yeah.
Like I even look at the season before that we had Ethan Boyle, so it was literally anybody. Like Keith could have went in at right back and I would have been happy. Because by God, sound lad and all that. Ethan's a sound lad. I'm not going to say he's not, and I hope he does well up at Hearts. But by God, he wasn't set out for Rovers.
Yeah, he's not. He wasn't a Rovers player. He never was. Like, and even a few seasons before that, like before he was even at Rovers, I would have never put him down at a player who should be, on that kind of caliber of team. So it's definitely an improvement. And like you said, you've still got like Finn to come in there if Gannon was out, or vice versa. So it's good. It's good backup to have.
The Rovers will be very happy to start. Like, they're 1-up, but they're more or less dominating so far. So they're Frets and Bohs as well. Bohs can't really seem to get an out ball so far, Daz.
Yeah, sure. Look, what's gone? 10-25. Yeah, it's a long way to go. Yeah, it's a long game. There's a long way to go.
They have to make sure they don't see the seconds in the meantime.
I even think of Bohs, if we Buck, one thing, Buck, great player and all that, but one thing I hate about him, he's very, very greedy when he gets on the ball. And I know it works wonders when he's scoring them goals up in Derry and when he's scoring a penalty against Longford to equalise, but half the time his shots are hitting the square more than they're hitting the back of the net.
Yeah. When Graham Burke played for Ireland that time, he scored a goal. 1 appearance, 1 goal.
Yeah, I remember because everybody's like, he robbed Alan Judge's goal. Alan Judge worked so hard for that. I was like, yeah, what do you expect him to do? It was probably going to be the only time he's going to start for Ireland. So what do you expect? He's just going to stand there and let the ball go past him?
Exactly, yeah. I would have done the same. An international goal, why would you pass that up?
Go on, Greener. Go on.
Oh my God, what are you doing? Get rid of it. Go. Lads, it's shocking to not be there tonight. It's terrible watching this in a sitting room.
I'm not even joking, Daz. I'd be sitting behind that goal now, behind Manus, still elated over fucking us going 1-0 up. But, like, I know that, like, it's a Dublin derby. Anything can happen. Like, some lad could now run on the pitch and hit into the back of the net, and McLaughlin be like, yeah, that's grand.
Yeah, I was actually just saying to someone there this morning that, it's not like other times where you'd be waking up going, it's 12 hours till the match, or, you'd be in college then, you'd be going to people, 3 hours now till we're there and all, and, and you get on the bus, you're texting people going, I'm on the way up now, and it's shocking, terrible.
I look at the time, the first game we bet to was after the 8 or 9 games that you had the unbeaten run on us. I remember being in school for 2 hours that day, and I was just sitting there like, get me out of here. I just want to be at home.
Oh! No!
It's clinical chance, 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Oh!
That falls to the striker's foot instead of a winger. That's hitting the top corner. If Georgie Kelly was on that way, Georgie Kelly, as much as I don't think he was great at Pats, and he hasn't really been great at start with Bohs. Possible impediment there on Pico or Haw. But yeah, do you think it was a bit of a 50-50 tugging?
What's that?
Possible impediment there on Haw. But yeah, Kelly, I just think it was just a bit 50-50.
50-50 there, I think, to be honest. But Shamrock fans were going on the pitch to score against Bohs himself.
Listen, if it meant we'd win, if it meant it was the 94th minute and this last kick of the game, I would sprint from the south stand up to the top of the pitch, hit Keithward, smack me head and put it in the bottom corner.
I don't know, I'd expect Burt to do better there. Would you, Daz?
Yeah, he should be hitting harder from there. Like, these kind of opportunities don't come up that much in this kind of a game, and he should be hitting the target at least.
Jesus Christ. There's a name from that I hadn't seen in a while. Mark McNulty. Still playing for Cork.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he started there tonight against Treaty.
Bizarre.
Look, I just look.
Very poor. For a long time.
Doom Pico. Yes, super.
Go on.
Now press Pico, press it! Super!
Lopez, another ex-Bohs player.
I'm going to be honest. Player that should have been, as much as I love Jack and all that should have been the player of the year in the league last year. Unstoppable last year he was. He got Rovers player of the year, but he should have got the leagues.
I don't know. I think Jack Byrne's a better player. They're different positions, but Lopez is a good player too. He's one of the better defenders in the league, obviously, and he's an international player too. But I think Jack Byrne, he was rightly given it.
As much now, trust me, Daz. If you ask anybody, and I mean ask any Bohs fan you know who wouldn't know me a bit, they will tell you how much I love Jack Byrne, and I'll even say that Jack didn't deserve it last year. Jack wasn't the player last year that he was the year before. He was still great. I'm not going to say he wasn't. He was amazing, but he wasn't the same. He was more looking for a move, if I'm going to be honest. Whereas Pico and that back line what did he concede? 7 goals last year? Well, now it was only 18 games, but 6 or 7 goals in the league, so many clean sheets. We're unbeaten now. If we win today, we're 28 or 29 games unbeaten. The last time we lost was domestically was to Dundalk in Pallet in 2019.
That's some record.
Dundalk beat us in the cup as well, so obviously Dundalk know how to beat us as much at the moment, but I don't know if they beat us at the moment if they were to play, but you know what I mean. It's a good game. Like you're watching it from a Rovers point of view, and you're watching it as a Bohs obviously point of view. I'm watching it as in between, and it's actually a decent game because I was telling you before, games can sometimes be dodgy. But if we go get Burt should be scoring though.
Stupid! That's stupid, Scales.
Yeah, well, he should be hitting the target. I think at least when you're that far in, you know, you're 7 yards out.
That's
he should be hitting the target.
He's trying to take another touch there, and he's kind of tried to be too casual, unfortunately, and he's hit it wide.
Sorry, was I? Did I say Scales there? I meant Mandrew played the pass back there, and it was a suicidal pass because if Pico wasn't copping on there, it would have went straight right into a Bohs player's foot, and he would have been off. I think it was Burt that was going onto it.
Funny enough, we haven't seen much of Andrew yet, as in there's been no Mishi tackles either or anything like that. So it's been fairly quiet in that regard, but again, Shamrock on the left-hand side there, like Scales been getting on the ball an awful lot on the left, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest though, as much as like I'm saying about Pico and all that, since Jack has left, the delivery from set pieces hasn't been great. And that's even with Mandrew in the squad now. Look, I know people are saying about, Mandrew's goal against Dundalk and all that. Yeah, fair enough. That was a quick free kick, took to him, boy Watts to him, and he smashed it. Not going to say it wasn't a good goal. It was a great goal. But I'm going to be honest, though, Watts is probably a set-piece taker this year, but I think if we can get Danny more moulded in, to taking like set piece and not going all the time for hitting it for the far post or the front post. Like if he aims it for the centre circle, like Jack used to do, just float it in there, and one of the lads will get onto it. Like you look at Pico last year, Pico was in fine form with goals because of Jack.
Yeah, it is funny though because I don't think I've seen Rovers attacking the right yet, Craig. Have you?
No.
But the thing is, they're getting a lot of success on the left. That's the point. They are getting success on the left.
I'm just looking. I'm looking here, and it looks like, if I'm going to be honest, that once they're going down the left now, it's going back over. Just looking a bit of highlights now on the phone beside me. But I think that if they're going to go down the left now again, Bucco's going to cover. So I think that's already going to be blocked off straight away. Miles out high. Daz, what's your opinion on Nutsy?
On who, sorry?
Nutsy, Pat Fenton.
Yeah, look, I have great time for Pat. He's been in around the league donkey years, and he's managed both sides, and you know he's good to talk as well, and I think he speaks a lot of sense when he does talk. And yes, Kane.
That's turned
on.
You're caught lacking there. Horse should have got rid of that when Cute went for it. It was a 50-50 there to be won, and he let Cute go for it. Watch here, look, he could have got that ball there when it was left behind. He was too convinced that he was going to go.
And Bohs have just warmed into it in the last few minutes as well, actually, to be honest. It was a good build-up.
Grace caught ball watching there again.
Yeah, like just the passing movement I thought originally from Bohs as well from deep, and obviously the concentration, the focus was gone, but there you go. Ross Tierney did get a few goals this season, Daz, and I think he's on to retreat at this stage now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been one of our better players, I thought, this season, and he's proven his worth now. Anyway, the goal against Rovers will be remembered throughout the season for any Bohs fan.
Yeah, and that'll give him confidence scoring against a team like Rovers. They just got overload. There was an overload there, completely unmarked, though, Craig. I mean, like, you have to be disappointed with that.
I'm disappointed that the ball was there to be won by Hart, and he was too focused on doing Coote. And even if he would have done Coote and Coote didn't let the ball run past him, he would have gave away a penalty. But I'm looking here, and Grace's ball watching. Like, there's no point in saying any different. When you look at the highlights, it's Grace watching the ball, and it flies straight over to his head onto Ross Tierney's.
Yeah, you're right. It is ball watching, didn't you? Well,
you think a player of Lee Grace, I don't mean this way it's going to sound, but Lee Grace's experience in the league with Rovers and Wexford and Galway, like you think of his experience in the league towards Ross Tierney's, he should know better than just be ball watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, yeah, very true. He should know, especially when he's in around all these Rovers players every day. Like that shouldn't be happening. Like, well done, Bert.
Stupid hot.
Look how deep.
Crackle.
Oh, cross it.
Stupid ball.
It's really sad. The game, though, I have to say. Like, it really is. Like, obviously, Rovers sat brilliantly. Still attacking that left-hand side, by the way. Ball was an opportunity earlier where they broke through.
Heavy touch.
Obviously getting that equaliser as well. So I'm just checking the first division scores here. So
Athlone won the look, I'd say.
Athlone won up in Wexford, and that's it, by the way. Nothing else.
Hello to Jeremy Rotterdam, watching from Holland. Nice to have you on the stream. Penalty. That was a penalty.
Get up. I don't get this though. Are you noticing this as well? Scalesy's looking for a pass here. Now he's after getting off the Mandrew there, but instead of Mandrew looking for the pass, he's running on.
Were you talking away there, grand, like, and everything? I was gone.
Yeah.
I just disappeared off the screen. I disappeared off the screen. But once it was going on, that's all right. I was probably just like that or something.
But I was just looking here, Keith, at it. When Scales gets the ball, instead of Mandrew looking for the 1-2, he's running on. And it's just leaving Scales under immense pressure. Because not only is Tyreek Wilson pushing up to try and do Scales and get the ball off him, you have Bucko coming in from the midfield. So it's 2-on-1 then, and Mandrew's already run on.
That's true as well. And even when Ross Tierney got in, I know you're kind of blaming Grace, and I know Grace was ball watching. But who tracked Ross Tierney's run into the box as well?
No, it should have been Scales on Mandrew.
Yeah, exactly.
It was on their side. Mandrew, that was. He's going to score, Daz, I'm telling you. He's going to get one.
Like, I was talking to you about Mandrew. He's worst in the game, and he can be annoying. Then he might score a goal from 20 yards to win the game, That's the thing.
He's done that for Bohs as well last 2 seasons. He scored. He came up with a set piece against Rovers, a free kick there 2 years ago, won the game for us. He's that kind of player.
I said this before, and I've said it to you on multiple occasions, Keith. He's a great player. He truly is. He's an amazing player with amazing potential, but he needs to work on his off-the-field stuff more. He needs to get more. Yeah. He needs to get more media trained. He needs to know when to not do stuff and when to do stuff, and he needs to know and when to shut up, basically. Because when he's online slagging off health, and I know he's at Bohs when he's done this, but I still hold this against him, and I know he shouldn't because he is one of my own club's players. But when you're slagging off healthcare workers in the middle of a pandemic, saying, it'll be some funny stories from my beat though, that can't stand. I don't care. Someone at Bohs needs to tell him there to shut up.
Especially when you know exactly that people will it'll be put all over the place because of kind of who he is as well. But also some of his off the ball stuff he needs to improve on as well. Off the ball, I think. Cracking, defending.
Again, what are we watching them for?
Come on, cross it. Come on, another wasted chance. Oh.
We're too laxed. We're letting balls run through the midfield. Go on, Greener.
Oh no.
Hit it,
oh, no.
Hit it, Borky. Hit the out, will you? Taking 40 touches before shooting. Now, I know that contradicts what I said earlier about him shooting outside the box. But when he's inside the box, he needs to know when to shoot. Look, when he's outside the box, he can shoot from whenever and it'll fly over. But when he's inside the box, he's taking 40 touches.
Yeah.
I can't stand that either.
I'll say that as well. Once the chance opens up inside the box, you need to be having a shot because that chance can be gone very quickly. Jesus, guys, this is an open game. I tell you, I don't know if you've noticed as such because when it's your own team, it's hard to notice sometimes.
That's crazy. What was the key, Terry? I was focused on Scales getting that ball there.
The game is so open, but no, you're right about that fork shot earlier. If he hits that first time, he probably scored.
Yeah, like I'm even thinking there. Even if he took one touch, it's only one defender on him. He plants it past him, but he's taking too many touches.
You're not getting as much. Playing that left-hand side though. Against
you might get no disrespect to these clubs because I do hold the fondness for Harps, but you can do that against the likes of Harps or Waterford. You can't be doing that against Bohs. They're too good. Like there's no point. There's no point.
Take 3 or 4 touches in the box. Anything in this position, really. It just doesn't happen. If I was owner of a team and if manager was slagging healthcare workers, I'd be like, yeah, my club, your attitude's clean. So maybe that's what happened at Dublin.
Who's on this one? Is it Watsy? Is it Watsy of Mandrill? What? So I just think though that another shocking delivery.
Shell's one up as well against Cabinteely, by the way, in the first division.
The real Dublin derby, what?
No, gee, it's a penalty. There is a penalty from Hollywood scored for Athlone against Wexford. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sad for Shells when you think about it, isn't it? They're away to Cabinteely tonight in the first division. While you've got obviously Pat's doing well, you've got Bohs and Rovers playing each other in the Premier Division. So.
I know this is going to sound very, very bitter, but I don't care in the slightest how this sounds, but I'm actually delighted to see Shells in the position they're in. Because, and I know that sounds bitter, but as much as they are a big club and all that fan base is appalling. Like, you look at them, they were playing Dundalk last year, and they lost 3-2, and they were talking about challenging for Europe and doing this and doing that, and slagging off Bohs and slagging off Rovers, and then what? Rovers and Bohs finished 4th and 2nd, and they finished 9th, and went down because of Longford beating them in the playoffs.
You see, the thing is, Pats have a big rivalry with Shelbourne. So when Shelbourne aren't there, there's a big derby missing, I feel, anyway. Pats kind of a stronger derby with Shells than they do with Bohs and Rovers, if you get them, and vice versa. So they're kind of, you miss that when Shelbourne are gone, basically, to be honest. Good game, guys. I mean, like the Bohs have definitely got back into it, after Rovers really start.
Great ball there.
On the left-hand side, though. I don't know what he can do there, but keep them Shells coming, lads. See, there you go. You're the Pats fan, so yeah, it's really close to post, and it's there to Celtic around the Premier League. I don't know. I hate all that shite.
The only reason I'm not overly fond of Shells is because every time, that there's not, to Shells there's a rivalry, but to me, Rovers only have 2 rivals, and now fans back in the 80s and 90s say, Shells are up there. But for me, in my lifetime going to Rovers, Shells haven't been really there. They were there for 1 or 2 seasons, got relegated, up and down, like a yo-yo. And then you have them when they're playing with some pre-season friendlies and beating with some pre-season friendlies, calling themselves Ringsend #1. Like, even you look at last year, Oscar Brennan now at Waterford, when they brought out that Dublin blue kit and talking about Ringsend's finest. They were never Ringsend's finest.
Gels
And then
fans,
we're going to be ground share of them now next year, or whatever the stadium's done.
Yeah, what do you think that ground stands actually? You said
What is? I was talking to a Bohs lad about it. What does that grant do? Is that towards the stadium or?
Yeah, it's towards the stadium. It was given over something about. So I read the thing. It was over holding euros. They're supposed to be holding euros, and that's why they gave us the grant. But I don't understand why was it Bohs giving it? Like why didn't they give everyone money, every club money? You know what I mean?
I'd happily take $500,000. Richie, get another player like Richie Towling.
You don't need another $500,000. You've got private investors back in Shamrock Rovers. You don't need any more money.
Let's get. If we want to get into stuff like that, we can get into it. I remember our time on Bohs. I remember our time back in 2008 and 2009 when Rovers were part-time and there was no talk of Rovers challenging for no leagues. And we brought in a certain man who I call God, that you'd know as Gary Twigg, and he absolutely bet the shit out of you. So if we want to talk about private investors, when you are paying players in 2009, 2010, 5 and 6 grand, we can get into that.
That's me, Cole.
Look, I know we're obviously lucky now, but what people and a lot of Bohs fans always say this: you were never fan owned. We were the 400 club from 2003 to 2019 when Dermot Desmond put in the 25%. It was fan owned. Like we got to the European group stages as a full-time team, but it was fans paid, and fans still do pay the players' wages. Like people think that Dermot Desmond bids is paying the players' wages. No, that went towards the academy. That 3 million went towards the academy. It didn't go towards transfers, didn't go towards players, didn't go towards players' wages. It just went towards the academy. So the Rovers fans are still paying our players' wages.
Would you really believe that none of it though went to players' wages though, to be honest?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, Keith, if I'm going to be completely honest, I believe that we're like us as fans, Rovers fans, members went up from just below 400 to just over 600 now. So we got a massive increase at the end of last season. But I do think that the bulk of it is paid by the fans. That's hence why the Rovers players took a pay cut last year during the pandemic, because they didn't want the fans repeatedly paying their wages during the pandemic. Like,
come on, help him out. No one up there. Where's the overlap? Go. Good pass, Wardy. Oh.
So who's the best players on the pitch so far? Actually, 30 minutes gone. Who's playing the best? Which individual players?
Oh yeah, I see Jamie's. Sorry, just for 1 sec. I see Jamie's comment there. That's purely going off what was said, but it's what was said to me back 2 years ago, Jamie. That I heard that at the time before the boom happened and before Bohs went nearly to bust and Shells nearly went bust as well. That they were heaping on. Like you look at Pats and Rovers at that time. Pats won a league. Rovers won 2 leagues and qualified for Europe. But that's purely what I've heard about that time. Like you had players like that were there, like what was your man's name? Rosta, you had Paddy Madden, you had like I know they were only coming through at the time, but they were on hefty wages because a certain Paddy Madden said to a Rovers fan after does anybody Daz, were you about when Bohs had to score 5 goals to win the league when we won out in Bray in 2010? Paddy Madden had.
I would have only been like 12.
Yeah, I'll give you a funny one. I was 6 the first time Rovers won the league. On 17 now, I was 6 when Rovers won that first league. I've seen Rovers win 3 leagues, an FAI Cup, a Setanta Cup, a League Cup, and I've seen Rovers win everything domestically in my 12 years supporting.
Well, I've seen Bohs win the Leinster Senior Cup, and I've seen us win the Mountjoy Prison Cup.
Was that giving us trophy? Go on, Greena! What are you doing? How do you miss that? You slot the other corner and it's 2-1. What is he going near post for?
Should be 2-2, lads.
No, just watch this replay back. He slots it. Talbot's not getting to the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or
stupid.
at the very best, it's going to be a corner or it's going to be a save.
Yeah, at the very least, you're right, Daz. Like, at the very least, it's going to be a corner or a save that he's going to parry out and Greener can go on to the end of it.
Yeah.
I think Cornwall, for me, is having a poor game. He's given away the ball a few times and he just
That's the hooping. That's the hooping him. He started off as Shells, came to Rovers for a good few years, went on to Bohs then.
I think Craig, that's his weakness, Aaron Green's weakness, actually. He's like his shooting is excellent. He spreads the defenses, he gets makes space for the players, but that's an awful finish. You know what I mean? Just, you know, if he's playing, he's not the best finisher in the world, really, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, like, if I'm going to be honest, as much as I'm going to be honest, when Green came back in 2018, we just sold Burke and we brought in Green and Watts. I wasn't overly fond of Aaron Green purely because of prior situations in a Leinster Senior Cup final against Pat CY. And I remember what happened in that game, and Rovers fans weren't overly fond of him after that. But I'm not going to go into that because it was back well in the past. But we saw him back in 2018. He wasn't great in 2018. Started 2019, scored in the first game against Waterford in the 2-1 win, and went relatively quiet then. And then towards the end of the season, he was on fire. Last year, he was all right. He's actually played half decent last year, and I really respected how Green played. But I just feel in that situation, if you had a striker like Gaffney, that's 2-1.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He's too much time. He hasn't got that knack. He's not a killer from the goal.
Because I don't think many people remember, but Green isn't actually a striker. Green's a winger.
Winger. Yeah,
Green actually.
Winger for years. He's winger, pass, and a winger, Sligo. But he's a clever player. He's a clever player off the ball and stuff like that. If he could,
that's it.
He's not going to improve his finishing at this stage.
Sure. Like what age is Green on now? Probably 29, 30-ish.
Yeah, times 31. No, could be wrong.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, Keith. I was thinking like probably 29 to about 32. I was thinking in around that age bracket.
Yeah, he's not going to improve in that kind of way. He's improved, and he's away stuff, I think, around the pitch and that kind of thing. But he's as David Duffy said, he's a good player. He's not a great player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm looking at a comment here. That you have highlighted, Keith, and I do agree with that German model. The only team that went against that is RB Leipzig, and that's why they're so hated in Germany. Me and myself, I'd keep tabs on Eintracht Frankfurt because of the link with Rovers, but like I do agree with that. And at Rovers, it's still 75% fan owned. I know people say, but it's only 50%. But what people seem to forget is the Wilson family, who were the other 50% at the time. Ray Wilson was going to Rovers with his father Jack since the 70s. Jack Wilson, if you ask any Rovers fan, that's been going even since Tala. That man was Mr. Rovers, even though we never got to see Tala. You're always brought up, especially if you're brought up in the Rovers family, that if anybody asks you who was Mr. Rovers, it's Jack Wilson. That man was an absolute hit, done great stuff for our club. But when people say, the Wilson family aren't this and the Wilson family don't care about Rovers, they're Rovers fans, they always have been. Like. Yeah.
I think the German model, it's a good model. It would ensure the likes of Cardiff, Hull City, all them kind of owners wouldn't, ruin a club, wouldn't really drag down a club and drain it of its resources and, really ruin the club.
Is Vincent Tan still at Cardiff?
He is, yeah.
He is.
And
the team's colours though from traditional blue to red, or vice versa, but that's what he did. Imagine now, even a Pat's gone blue. There'd be outrage, wouldn't there? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Stupid things to mess around with. Ridiculous.
Vincent Tan also said, he asked someone before, he's like, why is the goalkeeper not moving from the box?
I don't know, Vincent. He should actually be up front there. He should be right up there, just up top there with Loa. He should be right up there
Don't
with
say
him.
it to him there.
Just give the manager a buzz and tell him, yeah, we don't need a keeper. Send him up top.
And then if you look at, Hull City, they're in the Premier League now. I know they're probably going to come from League One, but they're in League One. And if you have it in a way where it's mostly fan owned and they're making decisions and stuff like that, the chances of a club being ruined dramatically get less. If you look at the thing with Waterford now, they're a big mess down there at the minute. No one knows what's going on down there.
One of the worst ownerships in the whole of the let's say the EFL 90. Get out with Pico.
Come on, pass it.
Get out, get away, Bogey, get out. Yeah, our ball, crap. But one of the worst ownerships in the whole of that EFL 92 is the Alams at Hull. I know this personally because I have a teacher up in my school, originally from Hull and a massive Hull City supporter, that said that them lads tried to stop. And this isn't me joking around, and I'm not even saying this to have a laugh around, but they actually tried to take I don't know if it's much in the League One as it is over in England, but there's a lot of priority on disabled seating.
Yeah.
They tried to take that out of
really?
What's a Hull Stadium. They tried to take it out, and they tried to take out reserved wheelchair and disabled seating because they thought they could get more fans in.
That's mental. That kind of stuff. Fuck off. To be honest.
That's disgraceful.
They also told the fans, said the fans can go or die.
What?
Yeah.
Asim Halam said the fans can go or die in an interview once. Yeah. So there you go. That's what you're up against if you have all these private investors that come in and don't care about the club, or in Waterford's case, right? They made Europe, but it was rebooked because they were a new club, so therefore couldn't get into Europe. Obviously, the owner backs them, hoping he'd make money from Europe, and that didn't happen. And he pulled the plug with investment from then. And now the club has obviously fell really down, and they've been looking in the French 4th and 5th league to bring players in. And they've been leaving it to the last minute to get players. That's what happened. They were going from European football all the way to the very, very top to lower end of the league because of money, and it's all money. And if it was most fan owned, it would have happened.
The Blackburn there mentioned, the Blackburn Rovers actually fucking out.
Keith, do you remember when Pats got into Europe there on the technicality, and I don't know who you got at that time. I think it was a North Shopping.
Alright, say that again? Yeah, it was from Sweden. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember hearing from a certain Pats fan that I know that they were singing in the stands when you went 2-0 down. To the tune of "We All Live in the Yellow Submarine." They were saying we got into Europe on the technicality.
Like Waterford, you've seen it now with them as well. Unfortunately, it was their own fault.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just look at them now. I don't know what to do. Well, that is London relegation for Waterford. That will happen.
Yeah.
London relegation.
Listen, Waterford and Dundalk go down, they'll be happy.
They won't come back very easily either if they go down. They're that type of club. They might be laughing at Cork now, but
we looking at Division 1 right now, it's very competitive. It's probably one of the most competitive Division 1s in years. That's not an easy league to get out of. It's simply not.
Hugely. Cork are 1 down, by the way. Shells are 2 up, so it looks like they're going to win in Cabinteely. And Athlone are winning 1 there. Galway, UCD.
I'd like to see Athlone come back up.
You'd like to yeah. I don't really mind. To be honest, I like to see Shelburne because of the selfish Pats Shelburne derbies that I kind of miss, if I'm honest with you. Otherwise, I don't really mind. Whatever comes up, comes up.
I'd like to see Athlone come up for James Downey because I think that the lad didn't get a break at Rovers or Pats, and he's after being down there at Athlone since December, I think, and in his first 4 or 5 games he has a goal and 3 assists.
Yeah, it's still
he's doing really well down there.
I don't think he was good enough, to be honest, for Rovers and Pats at this minute in time, to be perfectly honest, though.
I know he's signed for Pats because he was a Pats fan.
Yeah, I don't know, he just wasn't on the same wavelength. He doesn't take instructions very well. I think that's the thing that needs to improve with him. He needs to learn the game, how it works, rather than just being on the ball, if you understand my point.
What do you think of
Stadium a year or two ago? Dead in the water at this minute in time. Hopefully he comes back. Jamie says he's the first division player, to be honest. Jamie doing it. Yeah, at this minute in time to speak, James doing it, I think he's the first division player. And there's no harm in that. If you can go and improve yourself, play first team football, maybe in 2 or 3 years you're a Premier Division player.
Yeah, exactly.
No additional time, what?
Yeah, there was nothing there, was there?
No, nothing.
No. Good half. I have to say, a draw is probably a fair result at the end of the half. In the end, Rovers starting off like a house on fire. Bohs came into it. There should be more goals, though. Actually,
it could be 2-2. It could be.
And Green could be scored. Absolutely, 100%. And there's been
it could be 2-2 or 3-2. Because you even look at the Borky chance when he took about 40 touches. Look, allowing that Green that chance.
Yeah, he should. If he hits that earlier, I think he scores. I think Bohs has looked very sharp for Bohemians overall, even though he missed that chance. He's looked a good player. Let's cut the side with his right foot. Rovers Scales down the left, very prominent. Burke, as usual, very prominent. Midfield's probably even enough there, I'd say. No,
that's what I think.
Midfield, though, you know what I mean? It's more helter-skelter his position. I don't see anyone kind of getting on the ball, making things happen as such. It's just the way the game is as well, though. The helter-skelter Dublin derby. Again, it pinches on crowds because it'd be a cracking Dublin derby with crowds. It would just up it another notch, I think.
I think, though, as well with Bohs, I think when we get forward, we need to quiet the players more forward a bit. That's how Tierney got his goal. He got into the box and he got himself free. He got to the back post. There was another time when we had the ball and there was no one overlapping and Kelly was holding it up and there was no one there to help out and Rovers got the ball back. Now, I know we're probably sitting because we don't want Rovers to catch us on the break because they've got quality players all around. So I could see maybe why they're not committing to going forward. But I think if they just kind of went forward a bit more, we'd have probably a bit better of getting more goals, more chances, more shots.
Yeah.
So far,
all in the game, you know what I mean? And that's a good thing for the game because it's a bit like on counter in a way. Rovers generally like to control the game, but they're not controlling the game. If you get me?
Rovers are very lax in the first half. They're very sitting back and lackadaisical when they're on the ball, and they're fair enough. We got the goal early enough, and it was a good goal. It was a scrappy goal enough, but it was good to get the goal early. But we've been sitting back a lot. We've been ball watching. We've lost balls in the midfield that wouldn't have been lost last year if we had the likes of McAneff in there. We had you have lads like Mandrew, as much as he's had an alright first half, he's playing suicidal balls into the centre backs and hoping that he can latch onto it in the 50-50, which won't bode well because next time it goes like that, either our Bohs player's going to go onto it or one of our lads going to get a yellow.
Yeah. By the way, Cork equals against Trinity, so I have to laugh at
Treaty and Tommy Barrett.
Obviously, you've done the reactions, some after-match reactions for me and that. But the same guy every week for Cork. And the poor fella every week, just every week he dies a little bit more. I'd actually love if Cork won, because I'd like to see what his reaction would be like if Cork actually won the match.
Just celebrate. He doesn't even turn up, Keith. He's just celebrating. He's celebrating on the 2-day bender. But the thing is, I said at the start of the year, and lots of people laughed at me for saying this, I knew Cork wouldn't do well because it's not Ranbury. When they had Forrest at the start, Forrest ran it great, but towards the end with Forrest, it wasn't great, and then they were waiting for this Preston bid, and you had the fans getting all, sure, at least we'll go down, but we'll have the biggest budget in the first division, and then that didn't take off. But I knew they wouldn't do well because they're relying too much on lads that don't really care about that club. When you had the proper Forest lads in there at the start, they really cared. And you saw that in the way Cork were between 2014 and 2018.
Yeah, I'm just kind of doing a bit of a laugh there, because not a laugh, but UCD just gone in front against Galway. And Galway, just say Galway, they're second bottom with 2 points, and they'd be like Athlone would have 13, UCD and Sheldon 11. For a team that were expected to challenge the title,
Is Connor in goal?
What?
Is Connor in goal for Galway?
Is who for Galway? Sorry?
Connor Kearns. Is he in goal for Galway?
I'm not sure.
I don't know that team at Kevin.
I'd imagine he would be, yeah, because he's the number one keeper. He has been the other week. I say he is. I hope McNulty didn't make a mistake this week, because every week he's getting covered on that first division, so we do. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, like Galway, it's a weird one with Galway though, because they've gone professional, or full time rather, and but the squad isn't really that better than it was last season. Really, it's just the fact that I suppose when Caulfield came in, they started to do great. Like, you know what I mean? So it's surprising that they have started so slowly, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Caulfield, you can get a team playing a certain way and you can get results out, and that's what he did with Cork. I think they complained a lot about how they played, but they got results under him for a long, long time, and he did bring silverware to the club. Now, I know you can do that when you have a budget and all, but I think Galway should be doing a lot better than they're doing. They're full-time, they're in Division 1, they've got an experienced manager, they've got good players, they should be doing a lot better. Just on a side note, I think a lot of people aren't really talking about Athlone. Like, where do they get all this money from? Like, the season's gone by, they were very, very bottom. They had no players, no one we're talking about,
I know there's got a lot of businesses involved in the last year or so, and that's down to Adrian Carberry. He's not just the manager; he's having a massive influence on what goes on there. And I know he wouldn't take the job unless things change. Like, you know what I mean? So they've obviously had backing from somewhere as well. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Was that Adrian Carberry's doing, or was it like a private investor?
Huge influence on what's going on there all around the club. It's obviously not a bad thing, but the worry is, say if they don't go up, like, does that have detrimental effects on the club? I don't know. See, you don't know because you're not inside the club. I can't tell what's going on, and these things happen or come out after. But
that's exactly what I was thinking too. Like, if they're putting all this money into these players and it doesn't work out and they don't go up, what's going to happen then? Are these players just going to leave? Are they going to pull out of investment out of a loan? Are they going to be starting off with probably one of the worst squads on paper again? There's a lot of what ifs and buts, like, but hopefully it works out for them and they go up, because I think it's great to have it low in the league. The one of the founding members of the league, they got a few great people in the club. They've got a really nice stadium. They're outside of Dublin. They're in Central Ireland. I think it'd be great to have them back up.
Yeah. They all can't come up, and that's the mad thing, isn't it? I mean,
do you think if Shells don't come straight back up, that it's going to be bad for them? Like, it'll be detrimental. Like.
Yeah, it's hard to know, because if they're all in 1-year contracts, they might get away with it, but it just might mean that they mightn't be able to have the squad next season that they have this season, if you get me. So,
yeah, look, I look at Gerard Bruna, I look at Yo-Yo Maddy, I look at some of the players they brought in from Premier and First Division clubs, and I'm thinking, why did nobody else take a punt on them? Look, even Yo-Yo Maddy, look, I know he wouldn't have got in at Rovers, but I was looking at the likes of Pats and I was looking at Bohs and I was thinking, why didn't you take a punt on him? Because he's well capable of playing.
They probably did, but Shelburne offered that much more money, and they're probably living in Dublin anyway as it is. So, you're going to go to whoever pays you the most, and they might have a clause in the contract that says if you get promoted, you're on 10% more next season.
See, what I was told, and I don't know how true it is, but Shells are offering courses. That's why, what's his name? He retired at the end of last year. Carl Shepard. That's why Shepard went to Shells, because he was offered a course to do in DCU.
Could be
they can still work with, they're still working with the college. Like, obviously, Bohs have the trend set up out in DCU now, but Shell still have the link with the college. So that's what I heard, that even though I wouldn't say that it'd work for Yo-Yo, though. Yo-Yo came through at UCD, like.
Yeah. See, like, Yo-Yo could probably just earn a lot of money. Like, they could be paying higher Premier Division than some Premier Divisions are. Like, Like Bohs don't pay necessarily high wages, and that's why we lose a lot of players every season. Players to teams in league that we could keep if we want to, but we just don't pay the wages. And it wouldn't surprise me again this season if we lose. If someone really steps up this season and shines out, it won't surprise me if we lose someone one or two to another club around Dublin.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know Bastian here. He's definitely getting a good wage. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
He's getting a scandalous wage.
He was on his way to Pats, and I didn't want him to go to Pats, so I was delighted. He was on his way to Pats, and that morning he rang up and changed his mind and went to Bohs. And that's definitely money. No question. Bastian here as well, definitely money. So I do think probably a bigger budget this year than a lot of people think that, to be honest with you. Honestly, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think Bohs are in a position to have a bigger. So
no, I don't mean this with malice, Daz. I don't mean this with malice when I say this, but I do believe that a lot of this when Keith's a great manager. I'm not going to say he's not, because he is. He's probably one of the best managers in the league, if not the best. But when he comes out and says he's a part-time, to me, that's wrong. Because you are probably paying better than most part-time clubs. I know that lads are working. Some lads are working, and some there is a good bunch of them Bohs lads now that are on full-time contracts. Look, I hardly think that the likes of Bastianeri, Stephen Mallon, even Tommy Lew leaving us, and George Kelly, I hardly think that they're coming down to get a part-time wage.
Yeah, well, I think what Keith Donald's really meaning is that we're not full-time in the sense of every single person.
Training and all that.
Like. There's a few players in the team, obviously, that are full-time at Bohs, and that's their full-time job. But you have Keith Ward who actually works as well. So
Wardy, doesn't Wardy work with the brewery? I know Wardy and another lad that works with the brewery.
I think what Long was trying to say was that it's not like we're not like Dundalk or Rovers where your players don't work as well. Like our players work. And they play with us. I know not them all do, but most, a good chunk of them do. So I think that's what Long was trying to say, that we're not full time in that sense.
Yeah, look, I understand that, but John, I just noticed it a lot, especially not as much the past 2 seasons, but before that, even when you were getting results over us, before games, he was bringing up the part-time ethic and all that, and I actually think it's a bit, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I actually think it's a bit disrespectful to the Bohs squad. The Bohs squads over the past few years, you look at Bohs 2018 compared to Bohs 2017. Bohs 2017, at the start of the season, fair enough, he's had a great run of form towards the end, but at the start of the season, he's battling relegation. He's down near the bottom, and then as soon as 2018, 2019, even last year, he's great again. As we always say, and I know this is going to piss off Dundalk fans that are in the chat, but to me, that's the two biggest clubs are north and south of the Livy. Rovers is obviously going to be number one, because it's my side, and it always is going to be historically number one. But for me, it's always been, even since I was a little kid, start going to Rovers when I was 5 years old. It always has been Rovers and Bohs that have been the top two.
You know what I think there as well, though? It's sickening for this team, but Cork City are up there as well, believe it or not. People don't realise it, but the support they have, I think after Shamrock Rovers is the second most fans.
The support is dormant, though, Keith. That there when the good times happen.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
as soon as the good times are gone, they're gone.
Yeah, but Craig, a lot of teams, though, in fairness, we don't know what would happen if Bohs were in the first division because they're never in it. Rovers are very rarely in the first division as well. So, you know what I mean? We don't know. I think that's a League of Ireland thing generally, to be honest with you.
When Cork started playing badly and losing lots of games on the Caulfield, it went into very bad results and form. Their support went to half, and that's very plastic in my opinion. And that might sound like a dig at Cork, but you support your teams through the good times and the bad times, and you don't just leave them when they're not playing well and not getting results. I remember that happening. And Cork's
the League of Ireland, what annoys me at times, it's not the fact that we don't get new fans, that we don't keep the actual fans. Do you know what I mean? So any team is struggling. I'll give you, I've said this before, I'll give you an example. I went to 2 Pats games in a row last year, or the year before, sorry, with fans. One was against Waterford, Pats lost 1-0. There was a couple of thousand at the game. The next week, Pats played, they actually won. I think it was Cork, actually. and there was a drop in attendance of 1,000 for that match. Why? Because they lost the week before. Like, you know what I mean? I hate that. That's what I hate about the league in that way.
But no, I just think, like, even when people say about, we have the biggest fan base, if we're going to be honest, the biggest fan base is always in the leagues, and so I've started going and spin Rovers. Like, Rovers travel away, great. You ask any club in this country, as much as most of the clubs in the country treat us like animals, we do travel away great, even outside. Like, people say, these clubs travel good to Dublin, these clubs travel well around Dublin. Rovers always travel well in and outside of Dublin. Like, when you're taking nearly 2,000 down to Cork on it's Monday, working Monday evening, when Bohs couldn't even take 500 on a bank holiday. Like, and that's not even a dig at Bohs. Like, fair enough, if you can get the fans out, you can get the fans out. If fans don't want to go, they don't want to go. But I just think it's laughable that, like, when people bring up fan bases, like, I'm going to give you an example, and I know this is going to annoy Dundalk fans because I'm going to bring up Dundalk again. But I was at a game in 2012, and I know people talk about the 2012 season and all that about it. In 2012, they had 50 fans in both times they played in Tala. They had 50 fans, and the second time they played, they had about less than 100. I don't know. It was in around between 50 and 100. In the 50 fans game, they lost 7-0, and in the other one, they lost 3 or 4-0.
Craig, I think Rovers usually was moving to Tala Stadium, to be honest. Before that, they lost Rovers in the 90s, and Rovers were nothing in the 90s, I'll be completely honest with you. They were the 4th best club in Dublin in terms of quality. A lot of that was because of that building stadium, so they know
what you had to take into account there as well, Keith. Between 19 this, I know this boy doing me project on leaving the Milltown and the Tolka boycott. You had to take into account there between the years of 1990 and 2002. Rovers were close to liquidation on 23 occasions. Like, that was close. We were in and out of ownerships. We were in and out of grounds. We didn't have a settled home for many years. We didn't have a settled owner for many years. It was in and out and in and out. Like, the Planet Tala was brought up in 97 or 98.
You're a Morton Stadium. Talca Park, I think. Isn't that right? Yeah,
Morton Stadium, Talca Park, Dalymount, Richmond, RDS.
Everywhere.
Tala.
There mainly as well. You're kind of Richmond's the odd time, but really the other 3, yeah, like you can't grow a team. So I think literally moving into Tala, as simple as that.
I think though, lads, if you can go back to 2012-13 with Waterford in their Division 1, this proves that how big families can grow. Like, when they got to the Premier League, then they were getting like over 1,000 fans, but before that it was like 100 or 200 a week in the first division. As soon as they got money, they start getting fans, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great to see a fan base growing.
But in fairness, they go back to the first division, are they back to 100 fans? Though?
That's it.
You look at Shells, though. You look at Shells, lads. I remember 2015, 2016 hearing about Shells getting 200 and 300 fans.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they come up to the Premier Division again, they're getting up in the thousands. Like, and even you look at when they start pumping money into the club, the fans start coming back. Like someone says in the comments there, if you're a true supporter, you stick beside your club through thick and thin. You don't start going, I'm going to go this week, and if we don't play well, I'm not going next week. That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not fun. That's a glory hunter.
Yeah, the key for me is not getting youth fans. The key is to keep, that core fans going to matches. Obviously, there's going to be a little drop off, but there shouldn't be drops off for thousands.
Definitely.
It doesn't make sense, because you're not missed going to the game every Friday night. Even if you're not doing well, you're actually going to a game.
Get out.
Oh!
Second half started, by the way.
But now, what I'd say is, and this is the truth, I'm a 5th generational hoop. You cut me out and I bleed green and white. It's been instilled in me since I'm a little kid to start supporting Rovers. Now, the only hard times, well, they're not really hard times because we never really finished outside the top 4 or 5. But the only hard times that I'd seen as a Rovers fan, let's say, was the 2013 to 2016 seasons under Crowley and Nutsy. They were horrible times, and fans were coming and fans were going. Now, the true fan base, and I'm going to be honest with you, a true fan base at that time, we still kept to the 2,000 mark. Like, we never really dropped, even for big games. Obviously, big games, everybody showed up, But I'd know the faces that were there every week. Like you'd know who you'd see every week, and you'd know who's only turning for the big games. Look, I know lads that I'd know from around my area that go to the four big games. Let's say, Bohs, Pats, Dundalk, and Europe, and then they claim that they're a bigger Rovers fan than me. Like it's actually laughable. Like I remember turning around to them one day, and I said to them, "Oh yeah, were you at the Finn Harps game then?" And they were like, what?" I was like, "Yeah, were you at the Finn Harps game last week?" And they were like, "No." I was like, "Were you at the game before that?" "No." I said, "Were you at the Bohs game though?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Exactly. So you don't go every week. You only go for the big games."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, that's it. And the funny thing is, if we notice the fans that only go to the big games, like they've nearly put point on and everything, we swear they were the biggest fans in the world. You get me? You know that type of fan. And then
They're like bars too, lass.
Yeah, and that's the same for months. But Shamrock Rovers is a funny one because I swear to God, things were that bad for Shamrock Rovers that they were picking up St. Pat's rejects in the 90s, and that's the honest truth. It's really gone downhill. Like really, they weren't in the conversation like at all. You just missed that, obviously.
I wasn't even born. I was born in 2004. Like in 2005, we got relegated.
You completely missed that era. So you've seen, exactly. So you've seen Rovers essentially since they moved to Palace Stadium, but for years I've seen them moving everywhere. Do you get me?
I obviously being a fifth generational hoop, I've heard all the stories from like me granddad and my dad going to like the games and all that. Like I've heard all the stories, but like they're saying like probably the best player. Like I know people bring up Gagan and Bourne and Eccles and O'Neill from that 94 team. But probably the best player we signed that year was Paul Ozam.
Yeah, Ozam. Yeah, some people forget
he was.
He had one season, played 18 games, and won a league title at Rovers.
Yeah. Some people forget he actually played there, but he did.
His son Evan Awesome played for UCD. I don't know where he is now though.
Still at UCD. He came through the Rovers ranks. He did through the Rovers ranks, had a horrific injury, and then went on to UCD.
Right. Yeah.
I'm delighted to see him doing well because he's a great lad, great player. Let's be honest, if you look back, look, I hear stories about Paul Ozam and all that, and going off the stories we've heard about Paul Ozam, if Evan's half the player that his dad is, he's going to be a great player.
No, he was ridiculously good. I can't. He's one of the best players I've seen in the league. Seriously underrated. Do you know what he was like? I tell you, style. Patrick Vieira. That's what he was like.
Yeah.
Athletic, up and down the pitch, could score winning goals. Real leader. It's hard to explain. Like very hard to explain.
He's the type. From what we've heard, he was the type of player to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and be like, "Right, ma."
Yeah. He wouldn't have the technical ability that some of the other Pats players had, like Eddie Gormley and Martin Russell and players like that. But he's probably more important than the two of them put together. Really. No, he's a great player. Great player in the League of Ireland. And he was absolutely great, like, to be honest.
He's with, I think it's Ireland's 16s or 17s now. And and he works in coach education now as well. He actually done my very first coaching course.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
he did my Kickstarter one. I thought it was very good.
Now I see Jamie's comment there, and I understand where he's come from about you could say about Rovers when they were homeless, but I hear about the worst time as a Rovers fan for many fans was Martin Stadium, and a lot of fans didn't go to Martin. But even around that time, not in Martin, but if you're looking at Tolka, you're looking at Dalymount, you're looking at Richmond, they were still getting upwards of 1,500. Like you look in the first division, ask anybody who start going in as Rovers fans call it the Discover Run season that's known as in Rovers, because we were the only team in Dublin in that division that year. So so if you ask anybody, like the first game I think we played Dundalk, we either played Dundalk or we played Waterford in the first game of the season, like Waterford United, not Waterford FC at the moment, and there was 2,000. Rovers brought 2,500, like, and they maintained 2,000 all that time.
That was good defending there. That was a good block to get away from that shot, and he standing his feet and he didn't commit a foul. That was good. Defend his corner now.
It'd be interesting if the second half is as open as the one in the first half.
No.
Though.
Joe Ball, what's he?
Go, Kelly.
Down, Pokey. Down.
However that is. Go, what ball? Go.
Down, Gano. Down. Your ball, Gano. Your ball. Ah, no way, Riff.
Get your card out.
No way, Riff. No way.
Right here with the cigar. I can relax.
That's the Scotland. Jumping to the floor.
It's all good.
That's definitely a yellow card.
No way, that's a yellow. It's a free, but it's not a yellow. It's a free. It's not a yellow. I didn't think it was a free.
Like that. You push them. What's a push? A yellow
The
card.
holding hands. That's the holding hands. The holding hands. It shouldn't be a yellow.
They're holding hands.
Here we go now. Bend this in, Wardy.
Oh, if he bends this in,
He's gone, is he?
He's gone. Let's hope he bends it in now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one. I can't decide what that was. I suppose I don't know.
I was only taking the piss. It was only a free, not a card.
Yeah. It's a free kick, though.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It wasn't bad. Got caught.
It's probably not yellow because it's a player as such, but Worth is causing problems, though. I know he missed that chance. It's causing an issue to Shamrock Rovers, isn't he?
He sure is.
Oh,
he just needs that chance.
Yeah. Yeah, he is causing issues, to be fair.
my phone must have been listening to me because I said if Wardy scores that free kick, I'd go off the stream. And my phone turned it off the stream.
And he must have been thinking,
He didn't score, so we'll bring it back.
Guys, I live up in Tala. I'm not even joking. I live in Tala, but like I've never seen, even on the RTE cameras around the apartments across from Tala Stadium that dark before. Like,
I haven't noticed.
I'm just taking. Look, when Bohs were taking the corner, I wasn't watching it. I was just like, what? How did you get that so bad, like darkly? Yeah, come on, press. Don't be wet. Oh.
That was great hold up play by Kelly there now. Lads, did you see that too? That corner, right? They keep going. Bohs keep doing short corners this season. And I'm not a fan of a short corner. Like, you have a chance to not be offside, put it in. Someone get your head on it. Try and test the defense out. Test the keeper out. Like, I hate a short corner. Like, and that short corner went the whole way back to our goalkeeper.
There's nothing worse when the short corner literally doesn't go into the box eventually, if you know what I mean, and nothing comes of it. It's so annoying.
And that's what happened there. Like, a wasted chance. Like, put it in. Like, oh.
Yeah, I just need to say this here because I've got a few texts off a few people. If anybody in the stream can tell me if my screen is frozen, because I know that people can hear me, but someone said to me that it looks like it's frozen.
It was frozen earlier, but it's all right now.
Oh no!
There we go, McCann. Great ball. Come on, Karina. Push off him. Come on, you're not weak. Yeah, show ball, Karina. Play him. Go on, Motti. Good ball in. Good ball. Stupid for Motti.
Get rid of it. Well done.
Good up, Gano.
Good touch. Come on, Wardy, pick someone out.
Do him. Smash him up. Come on, McCann. You're 6'4". The lad's like 4 foot nothing. Get out. Yes, Grant. No bother. Doesn't matter. Manus is raging. Manus is bullying.
Brian, Irish lad, you support Cove. That's good to see. I've been at St. Coleman's back a few times. Good few people down there. Ethan McCarthy, that would have been with the 17s and 19s, and Decky Coleman. I actually did my C license with them, so I know a few people down at Cove, and I would have known a few of the players. And Stuart Ashton was on our ETV course as well.
Never mind. I was going to say that's a weird out substitution, but he picked up a knock in the first half. Right, so He's gonna slot Finnar now in at right back. Now, is that on Liam? Is Liam Board after switching with Kearney and Liam's now on the right?
It looks like it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ward's gone back to the midfield. I think. See, Ward's been named in the wing, but he's not really on the wing, though. You get me?
Oh no! Look.
Yeah, go on, play him, run, Greener, run!
Well,
Ah, stupid ball.
Gannon.
Play quicker.
Oh, what you do, Wardy?
Yes, Greener. Yeah, you're off, Greener. You're off.
Oh, Jesus.
There's midweek games again, guys, isn't there? Excuse me.
Yeah.
So we're at it again midweek, aren't we? I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to take a lot in the next 2 weeks and squads, I think. Who are Bohs playing next, Daz, by the way?
Just checking that now, just to make sure.
Check yourself.
I thought.
I can't even tell you Pats are playing. I always take nearly one fixture at a time.
Yeah, it's saying we have Derry next Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. Okay.
It's the following week. Then we're away to draw that on Monday night.
Oh, maybe the following week is the week I'm talking about, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so
Yeah, we have Waterford. We have Waterford next Friday or Saturday.
I'd like to think Pats will win that. Draw to Sligo. They're all on Friday night as well, I think, aren't they? Yeah, 5 games Friday night. Bohs, Derry, Finn Harps, Shamrock Rovers, and Waterford, Dundalk. If Dundalk can't beat Waterford, forget about it. That's a lot.
Is there any change up in Dundalk since the 2 lads have left? Like, is there any talk of Jared? I heard Jared Little, but there's nothing really materialised about that.
David Healy's another one that's mentioned quite.
Adam Linfield's back.
Yeah, David. Northern Ireland International as well, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
Riff.
Manager seemingly, but it's what they do at the top end. Have you noticed that? I think Bohs have been the better side in the second half so far, though, if I'm honest, haven't they?
I think we've been good the whole game. I know, Rovers have got a lot of balls in, but it's not like we're being bet off the field. They are getting up the field, they are making chances. We could have scored a few more goals.
If I'm going to be honest, if I take a player off now,
if it's level with 10 minutes to go, what will Bohs do? Because recently there's a psychological thing playing Shamrock Rovers where teams just think, oh shit, they're going to score late, because they've got 4 late goals this season. In 6 games, so
yeah, they did. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I think we're doing very well, and I don't think we need to make a change. If we just sit back and let Rovers attack us, we're inviting pressure on. So I think we should just keep things how they're going if that happens.
I agree. Yeah,
I think that's the second or third time now that Grace after being caught out ball watching. Just before, when that was fucking Ross Tierney went through and man's kicked him in the head, but what happened there was that's the 3rd time now that Grace after being ball watching. So if I was making another substitution and we're going to bring someone on more into the midfield, or actually move Finner up. Actually, no, not move Finner up. Play the lads at the back, obviously like that, and then have McCann, Watts, and O'Neill in midfield, and let Watts move forward, because that's what needs to happen now.
Would you consider Gaffney at some point?
Me ginger brother, yeah, I'd get me ginger brother on, yeah. I'd get him on that bother, yeah. He's in fine for. I really think. I think if I was taking off he's done this a lot recently that he doesn't even take off Greener. He's taken off Borky. Every time he brings Gaffney on, it's usually Borky takes off for him, and he's gone with 2 up top then.
I think that's take Burke off, because you just don't know what can happen with Burke. He offers you so much. To be honest. I thought we would never take him off unless he was having a real stinker. This is the reason I think Dawson avoids in play at the moment. Because Dawson likes to get on the ball, kind of slow things down, if you get me. Bohs don't like to slow things down.
That's the thing, like Bohs like press it high, you get stuck in and run at people, and that's how. No, I'm like Bohs to be full of energy and they're trying to get forward and they press a lot. And like you said there, Dawson's more of a on the ball, I'll find the pass, I'll slow it down, I'll pick someone out kind of player, and that's okay. Like, but in a game like this, you could be a passenger, and it's not something we really need. Like,
Well,
it's hard to know.
He's an option. He's got 15, 20 minutes to go against the current team. Yourself, you can give you that option.
I'm just thinking though, even if you brought Gaffney and O'Neill off the bench, is there another option there, like Max Murphy maybe?
Would you bring O'Neill on though, just for tired legs at this stage in midfield? You'd think you need to get somebody on the ball. I don't think McCann's having a super game by any means, actually, to be honest with you.
Who?
No, he's not.
McCann.
No, he's not. I think who's the starting to fuck off now? Is he taking off McCann now?
What?
No, Dylan Watts taking off. Stupid. Watts probably been our best player to him.
Yeah.
But now what he has to realise is he has now one more slot to make if he wants to. Obviously it's 5 subs still, but if he wants to now, he only has one more slot to make subs. Look, I know we were nearly caught out in it last year for making 4 subs in 4 separate occasions. Like,
yeah, there's no point making 4 or 5 subs for the sake of making 4 or 5 subs either, isn't there? Not. You need to.
No, like if I was bringing on 2 off the bench now, it'd probably be Gaffney and Murphy. Although I wouldn't actually mind seeing Adam Moyle and Macchio off the bench, because he's been playing half decent for our B team last year when he came in towards the end.
I don't think Bohs should make any changes. I think we're doing super the way things are, and I think it could upset the balance in the team. And
Andrew, get back on.
Yeah, probably wrong. James and Bohs, to be perfectly honest, like in terms of trying to wrest and control of the game, because as I said, Rovers like to control the game, that's the way they play. But they haven't, I would say, haven't been bad, but they haven't controlled this game by any means. I think Bohs in the second half, I really do.
Yeah, Bohs properly controlled this second half. But going off what Jamie says here in the comments, Max Murphy on the derby would be great for him, but is he ready? I think he is ready. Look, last season, if you would have said, will we stick on Max for the last 5 minutes against Bohs at Dundalk, or even Pats, I would have been like, I'm not sure. But going off his performance in Derry, not many people realise that bulky goal, Max started that play off. Max started that play, played it into Scales, back to Max, played it into Bulky, and Bulky shot.
Yeah, there's only one way to know the player's ready, and that's to actually put them in.
Again, he's ball watching. Ball watching again. I'm telling you, he needs to get off.
I'll tell you one thing, exclusive, but Lee Grace won't be in my team of the week this week.
Oh, shocker, Keith. I thought he was going to be our best player. I thought he was going to be star player.
That's a shocker, isn't it? Yeah, no, you're right, though. He has in this game.
Look, I know he's came back. I'm not going to lie to you, I know this for a fact. He's came back a few weeks early from injury. I know that's a fact, but even that he's old enough now to know that you can't be ball watching, especially in a Bohs game. You can't be doing ball watching because they're gonna hurt you. Here we are, out top. Come on, Boogie, I better than that.
But even before that, though, who lost? McCann was dawdling on the ball as well, Craig, to be honest.
Yeah, McCann hasn't been great today.
I think he's had a ropey game as well, but Ross Tierney's had a really good game for Bohs there. I mean, he obviously nicked it there, but there's been chances.
No.
I mean, Kelly should have scored, in my opinion. Burke should have scored, in my opinion. Burke should have scored, in my opinion. And Green should have scored. So there's been, is it going to finish 1-1? I don't know. There's opportunities there to win the match, particularly from Bohs.
Keith, I'm not going to say anything. So I know my dad's watching the stream, and my dad calls me Rovers course because as soon as I say, yeah, it's finished 1-1 or finish 0-0, the other team scores. So I'm not going to open my mouth.
Well, no, I was just going to say that, though. Bohs better second half, better chances than that, but it'd be just typical Rovers in recent weeks to get a winner here. You know what I mean? Without maybe doing much.
I think though with any of these games, you can go either way throughout the whole game. It just takes a one set piece, takes one goal. That's all it is. It could win the game, but it's been a very good game so far for our Bohs and Rovers game, and I'm very
bringing someone now off bench. I think it might be Gaffney. I think he's bringing on Gaffney now. And now I'm going to say Grace is ball watching again, but this time if he wasn't ball watching, he probably would have had a chance because he ran forward too quick and he's looking back at the ball thinking, oh, bollocks.
Yeah, so far, who's impressed with the Bohs? If you pick one or two players who's impressed so far.
I think Turley's impressed me very much so. I think he's been up there and he's been creating things. He's been making things going forward. I think he's been having a good game. Throughout the rest of it, I think everyone actually is doing pretty well. We don't really have any passengers on the team, which is great to see. I think Wardy's trying very hard. I think Bohs doing very well. What a ball that was.
Yeah.
So, I think Wardy's been doing very well as well.
Craig, what would you say are the standouts for Rovers, if any, in your opinion, so far?
Alamans.
Oh my God, Kelly, please.
Alamans and Dylan Watts tonight. Dylan Watts really improved over the past 2 seasons. You remember in 2019, we weren't really sure whether Watts was going to go because we were like, is he going to just leave? Because he wasn't playing great. Like the first half season he came in, he was super. He was probably the star of the team. But then 2019, obviously Jack came in, stole the show a bit. So we weren't really we didn't know what was going to happen there. And then last year he played half decent, and this year he's playing great. And McCann's down injured, which probably means instead of Greenock coming off, it's going to be McCann.
Yeah.
Now Keith's just saying to them, right lads, we're going to plant a few trees after the game today, so we need to conserve that energy.
Environmental safety officer.
Yeah. Where is Sean? Where is he? Where is Sean? Sean's probably there drinking the rat infused gin out of Philsborough.
Rat infused gin.
He's going off. It looks like McCann's going off. He's feeling the hamstring.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a great game either. I really don't. What will they do though?
Probably McCann's off now, so it'll probably be O'Neill. O'Neill and Mandrew will probably be at 2 minutes with Borky playing the cam and Greener off the 2. Greener and Gaffney up top. Now, Gaffney will cement himself in Rovers folklore if he gets a goal against Bohs. He already got one against Sligo, and they're not overly fond of us, so if he gets one against Bohs, we'll be delighted. Now, there we are. Play him quick. Super ball, Gaff.
Boom!
Ref, come on!
That's what we like to see.
Come on, ref, where's the red? Come on, we need a red. We haven't seen a red since Mandrew got sent off in the cup semi. Like, come on.
We give him a yellow there for diving on with the game.
Am I wrong in saying that though, Daz? Don't we need a red? We haven't seen one in 2 years.
A yellow card, referee.
And he's after slapping Mandrew on the arse. Typical League One.
Girlfriend won't be happy.
Charlene won't be happy now. Quick ball in here. Quick ball. I don't want any of this shooting from long range and hoping it hits James Talbot in the face. Keith, you need to highlight that comment from Jamie. It's all about the craft beers and the murals.
The You know what? Rovers will be disappointed, let's be honest, so far. The first 10 minutes, I thought they were great. They scored, they completely dominated Bohs, and they've just kind of gone off the game, haven't they, Craig? They're just not.
I'm going to be honest. It's reminding me a lot of the past two games. We start off half all right. Like at least this time we actually put the ball in the back of the net within the first 5 minutes. We start off all right, then we fall off cliff, and then the last 5 minutes we're like, you know what? We actually are a good team.
That happened against Drogheda when I was there as well. Rovers started off very well, and then Drogheda were well in the game. But then the last 15 minutes, Rovers threw the kitchen sink at Drogheda, and obviously got the goal in the last. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
It's like that they realised in the last 10, 15 minutes, oh yeah, we're actually invincible champions. We should be beating this. Like that's what dawns on them at the last second. They're like, oh yeah, we should actually be winning these games.
No, it's great, but obviously, you can't keep doing that. Let's be honest, you will need to improve.
No, we're going to get caught out soon enough doing that.
Yeah,
and I just hope it's not tonight.
By the way, Shamrock 3-0 Cabin Teely. Galway equalised against UCD. And 2-0 at Lone.
Oh.
And what else? 3-1 Cork won. So, yeah.
If I'm going to be honest, if that's Tom or Kevin Horgan in goal, that's 2-1 Bohs.
Kevin Horgan, remember him?
Kevin Horgan, yeah. I suddenly realised what he is now. He's like, finally, I'm no longer.
That's McLaughlin for you. McLaughlin's bipolar. Like, one game he'll turn up and give out 14 red cards and be like, right, it's my game. I want to show off how good of a ref I am. And when he's really not. And then other games he's just like, oh yeah, where am I again? And then he realises he's actually in a stadium. I've now loved for Paul McLaughlin because of that derby. The only ref I like in the league is Neil Doyle, purely because he's a hoop.
I'm not really mad about anyone in the league, to be honest. I don't think any of them are great. What?
Did you see Jamie's comment? He's on first name basis with Mandrew's wife.
No,
the only reason I know her name Jamie is because her and him used to be plastered around every League of Ireland group chat. Everything. Used to League of Ireland memes, League of Ireland group chats. Red pedal! Yes! He's off! He's last man! Yes! Who are you hitting? Yeah, you're off pitch 50. Good luck, Jay. Don't even square up the grill. Grill back here. Bleeding. Plant your trees. Go on, drink your craft beer in the dressing room. Go on, good luck, Jay.
Well, we were just saying Rovers weren't really in the game in the half, if you get me. But
Daz, don't be worried. We hit the square more times than we hit the net. Don't be worried.
This is a joke.
It's Talbot. Actually, if it was McGuinness and goal, I'd be afraid. It's Talbot. It's Grant. It is a penalty, though. Maybe not a red, but it's Stonewaller. He takes him out.
He died. He definitely died.
Now watch from this angle. He's pushing him.
Mandrew, go up. Oh my God.
Red though. He didn't give himself thinking time with the red. I'm a bit surprised how quick he was.
Bulky plays not this way, so yes. I thought Talbot had it. I thought Talbot had it for a second because it slid off the glove.
So
gone against the run of play, what?
It's full of drama. Daz has his hands in his head. You're celebrating Keith's eating popcorn, watching mayhem occur. Pretty much. That's pretty much it. I think it's a penalty, Daz, I have to say.
Yeah, no, Daz, it's a penalty. It's not a red. I don't believe it's a red, but it's definitely a penalty. Is he last man, though? Is that the thing, though? Is he last man, or is it the double jeopardy rule that if the ref deems it's a penalty and a red? Because the ref now, in the League of Ireland over the past few years, that's this double jeopardy rule that you usually can't be a penalty and a red.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. Here we go now.
Greg, my question is, right, we don't know for sure that manager is actually going to get that ball. It's a foul and it's a penalty. But it's not like he's definitely a one-on-one with the keeper because he hasn't got the ball at his feet.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. Should it be a red though?
No.
I don't think so.
No. In my opinion, I don't think it was red.
Because I do think, and this comes from the Rovers fan, obviously, but I do think that genuinely, I don't think manager is getting to that. I think it's Talbot's coming out to catch it.
Yeah, but it is a foul. But is Mandra going to get to that? Probably not. Therefore, a foul penalty, yeah. But the referee immediately out with the red card. Like straight away, there was no consider this. Just fucking red card immediately. I think it's harsh red card. I think it's a penalty. But I think it's definitely a harsh.
It's a penalty because of the push. It's not a red though.
No.
Now,
that's a penalty or a card. That's what it is.
Huh? Sorry, what you say?
Oh no, I was messing saying it's not a penalty or a card.
Poor Daz. Well, it's actually disappointing, Daz, from Bohs' point of view, because they were
very much so.
Better side second half, and Rovers just there you go again. I know it's not as late as the other times, but you feel like if Rovers are in the game, it's another game, Craig, where they've just simply grinded out a result without playing.
And hopefully we don't mess it up here. Because we're doing what now. I hate GAA and all this, but I always bring this up whenever Dublin play. Do you ever see when Dublin go a few points up and then they start passing it around the back and thinking they're quality? I hate GAA altogether. But I know it's a lot like that.
I think Talbot tonight, he hasn't had too much to do, but he's done everything well. He's held more shots. They've been clean, and he's done the simple things right, and he made a very good save earlier on. So I think Talbot's having a good game too.
I genuinely think though.
Brian there, Brian's comment. The rule states that you were the last player and you tackle the player with a straight card no matter what. I don't know. Is that the rule? If that's the rule, then it's a red.
Can Brian find out for me though? Can Brian find out for me that was the double jeopardy rule not in place for that now? Because I know that was put in place about 2 years ago. Because I remember Keith, I don't know whether you remember this game, but remember when you was bet us 4-0?
Oh, very much so.
And Bistow, remember Bistow, Derek Foran and Bistow Flood. And Bistow Flood went through. And, but who was reffing that day? Was it, what's your man, Baldy Head? Nobody likes him. He's a bit of a weirdo. What's his name again? He called to get he delayed the game for half an hour because of kits.
Oh fuck! I don't know.
I'm trying to think. His name's on the top of my tongue, but I can't. But anyways, that was who was reffing it. But he gave a penalty and then gave a red card. But he pulled it back. He gave the advantage and then gave a penalty and then gave a red card. But that's why the double jeopardy rule was brought in. Was after that because that was uproar.
Yeah. Well, I see what Brian's saying. Touche was a Touche referee.
No. What was his name? I can't remember his name. Now, if I need to find out his name. It's not Chu, because Chu's actually a good ref. This man's a headball. He's an absolute head case. I don't know what's it. Butma. Is it? Is it But? I think it might be Butma.
It's hard, Daz, to see Bohs getting back into this now, isn't it, with 10 men at this stage of the game?
You're 10 men, you're down to the final 10, you're a goal down, everything's against us, really. And Shamrock Rovers have bought on a lot of players, all experienced players. We don't really have much experience to come on. It's not really a bad time to make a few subs now and go for it. Nothing else to really lose now. We're losing the game anyway. Bring on someone, fresh pair of legs.
Is that harsh for you, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I know what Brian's saying there about the rule. By the way, I understand his point, but I still don't get if you're saying he's the last man, but still, I mean, we don't know if Mandrew's getting there. It looks like he's not going to get there. To be honest, the boss might get him, but I don't know. Penalty fine, definitely in my view, but red card, I think it's a bit harsh. That's just my opinion, anyway.
This is very disappointing for Bohs because we played so well to come back and we had so many chances in the game and we didn't take the chances that we had. And this second half, it came out firing all cylinders. We got in Rovers' face, got stuck in. We were the better team, in my opinion, in the second half. And just threw it away by the looks of it. There's still 10 minutes to go though.
There's never a pen. I don't know. He might be a Bohs fan, to be honest with you. But I'm telling you, as a neutral, I thought it was a penalty. I thought the red was completely harsh. Did think it was a penalty though. Sickening from a Bohs point of view, probably that it was Mandrew as well. To be honest, kind of adds to it, I suppose. But I think
I found his name, Keith. Anthony Butman.
Okay.
Oh no, now, yeah.
That's the ref. That's who was refereeing. He's an absolute head case.
Yeah.
But like the standard. Look, I said this on the few times you've had me on for the analysis, Keith. The refereeing standard in Ireland isn't great. Like you either have lads that are way too technical, or you have them two Lithuanian lads that ref the Rovers and Pat's game that ref it like a Royal Rumble. Like it's in between that balance.
Yeah, I don't know what it is though, because I would have gone to a lot of neutral games as well, so I can really pick up a referee's performance. Do you know what I mean? And you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't mention it much because it's become the norm. It's just I don't know if some of them try to be celebrities and make it all about them or what. I don't know, but the standard isn't very good refereeing at all, to say the least. Here's one for you. Jamie has a thing there. I'll throw it down there. Here's one for you. Would you rather the worst League of Ireland reffing all your club games, or the worst commentator, probably Siobhan, taking over all your club games?
Ref, 100%. Ref. I can't. I'm not trying bad. Fair play to Siobhan Madigan for getting the job and watch LOI and RTE, but by God, I had to put you on mute every time you're on it.
Because this is no disrespect to Siobhan, but she's just not up to it to commentate League of Ireland. She's just poor at it. You can't listen to her, like, you know.
First, that she's a woman, because it makes it sound like you're having a go because she's a woman.
That's exactly not the case at all. Like, it shouldn't be gender, it shouldn't be ethnicity. Not like that. It's not like she's just not good enough to be on it, and that's as simple as, like, when she was doing the Bohs game there against Dundalk last season. Oh my God, it was shocking. It was so bad, like, and it just was so bad for her too, because everyone just instantly had an opinion of her. Well, she's probably good at whatever else she does in RTE, and she's just not up to it.
She always calls some of our players by the wrong names. Like, she calls Anna Manis McManus, she calls Dylan Watts Dylan Watt. Like, she calls players by the wrong names. And she said, who was she doing it for? Rovers Longford. And she said that we were playing Dundalk.
Like, that's all basic stuff that anyone should be able to get right. Like, you know, and
you know the way you can fumble something by accident. You might say Shelburne versus Cork, and you meant to say Shamrock versus Cork, but usually you know straight away.
You instantly going, oh no, I meant whoever.
Yeah, it can happen, slip of the tongue type thing. But,
and there's people out there that's like saying, oh, you don't like her because she's a woman. That's not the case at all. If you look at Stephanie Roach, she's a fantastic commentator. She's brilliant. Like, Stephanie Roach is class, and she should be on a lot of these.
And same with Anya O'Gorman. Stephanie, Anya, and like, but it's not because they're women. It's because I can't stand Daz Curran. I can't stand Daz Curran commentating because he does me head in. I can't stand a few others.
But a lot of people will say that's because the reason, like, you know what I mean? They'll say it really isn't. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, Stephanie Roach and Anya Gorman are very good. Actually, Anya O'Gorman are very good. Yeah, 100%. I'm not a big fan of Alan Cawley either. I think he's a bit up his own arse.
Yeah. No, I even never like Cawley. Cawley's always had something against Rovers.
I think
I'm not even joking.
I think it's something against everybody apart from Sligo, to be honest with you.
And now to a certain extent, well, over the past few seasons he changed, but up till about 2018 he was mad about Dundalk and Sligo. Everybody else he hated. Yeah. But now I love Brian Kerr because he's a League of Ireland man. Like, Brian's from Drimnagh. Brian's an ordinary man. Like, even though he's done so much, like, he brought through the golden generation through the FAI. Fair enough, it didn't really work out for him when he was as Ireland manager. He done wonders in the League of Ireland, but he's just a League of Ireland man. And I remember, I'll give you a funny one.
Yeah, go on.
Mike Tracy, remember he put the big yoke out about Brian Kerr going mad about Dundalk, and it was just the League of Ireland community all banded together, whether he's part of Rovers, Bohs, Pats, Shells, any club in the League of Ireland. We all banded together and we're like, nah, you're wrong. You're wrong. Leave him alone.
I tell you what, I miss Pat Dolan though. I used to think his passion was infectious. Pat Dolan.
Yeah, Pat was great.
But I don't know. Something happened. His brother died a couple of years ago, and apparently he's kind of gone a little bit. He's gone off the boil. He's gone out of the public eye a little bit since that. So that's obviously affected him badly.
What do you think of Johnny O'Donnell?
Yeah,
Johnny's all right.
Yeah.
No, you don't see much of Johnny anymore. They like to push out Richie Sadlier and Alan Cawley and a few ex-Ireland internationals when they want it. Now, I was happy to see Gary Rogers the other week for Rovers Dundalk. I was happy to see him getting involved in the old punditry. But like the likes of Johnny, that was another. Do you know who we didn't like? Who was your man? Dave Barry. I don't like Dave Barry. Dave Barry was always critical of everything. Like the only thing he talked good about was Cork.
Yeah.
And even at that, it was at a push, like. But the people who, like, in my opinion, the best commentator in the League of Ireland, and it's not because he's a Rovers fan, but the best commentator in the League of Ireland for me is Colin Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy's good as well. Yeah.
Murphy's good. Yeah.
Murphy's good. I like Colin Murphy. Yeah. No, Colin Murphy's good as well. There's more good than bad, I have to say. It's just you talk about bad more. Yeah,
man. Who was your man co-commentator for the Rovers Derry game? He was good. He was the next ex-Irish League player and played over in England for a year or two. I can't remember his name, but he was very good.
Rogers and Derry.
Yeah, I think his first name is Declan now. Could be wrong.
Let me think. Derry were home, weren't they? Was he a Derry?
I think he was a Derry lad, yeah.
Let me think. I can't think of Declan though.
It might not have been Declan. It was just the first name that came to my head.
Let me think. Something to do with Dundalk. Derry. Fuck. I can't think you'd done that game, to be honest with you. And I watched it. I just can't remember who it was. Fuck. That's annoying.
If anybody wants to know the Premier League result, Brent Leno's after scoring an own goal. Everton's 1-0 up.
His Arsenal must be near the bottom of the league, are they?
That's why they want to join. Go on, Greena! Greena, it's yours! Set it. Don't go to corner. Don't go corner. Because there's about 5 minutes added on.
Ooh, UCD 2-1 up against Galway.
That's 3
against Cork.
Now, do you know what I find mad weird, yeah? How nobody's took a punt on Colin Whelan.
Yeah, Colin Whelan. I think it were a year, and I think it will. Yeah, definitely. He scored again tonight. Actually, I think he's got one tonight. Yeah, it's also how UCD play. Though, be interested to see how Matty does at Shelbourne over the course of the season. Like how many goals he scores, because they just play a very attacking brand. I've seen them live a good few times as well, and they're a joy to watch. Because even when they're either winning or there's goals in their game. I've seen them get hammered at Drogheda. They were 4-0 down last season after 20 minutes. So it's not going for them, it's going against them. You rarely see 0-0.
Horrors after slicing open his finger. I don't know how he done it, but he sliced open his finger. So it's 10v10 for the moment.
Like, this is another game, though. Like, it's mad. If you look at the league table at the moment, right? You've got, say Rovers win this for a minute. They'll be on 17 points after 7 games, 5 wins, 2 draws. I'm not sure they've played well in the games yet, to be honest. Like, really well. And
we haven't played great.
What was your best performance so far, do you think? Derry?
If I'm being honest, Derry, they come back against Pats. I thought we were very good in the first half against Pats. I thought we fell off a cliff towards the end. And then it looked like, genuinely, I'm not even trying to be funny when I say this, it looked like after Benson whipped the cross in and hit off Pico's head to go in for the own goal. But it looked like then, it was like Rovers clicked into the team they were the season before, and that's how we equalised so quickly. Buckley and Grin are going to go at it.
No performance played well this season yet, and that's the disappointing thing, Daz, for Bohs, because you would have felt that Bohs played quite well in this game. And yet, it looked like they got away with nothing.
like being I probably would have took the draw, away to Rovers, and the fact that we had just had a loss, and with how Rovers are playing, the results they've got, I probably would have taken a draw. But especially
So,
like
already the Bohemians if they lose this. A lot.
Jamie, I do agree with you. Now that I think of it, that was a stupid comment to make for myself. We weren't great. I was thinking of a completely different game. Now, if I'm being honest, the best performance Rovers have had all season was against Derry. That was it.
And it was all right.
Yeah, and it wasn't even super at that point.
Yeah, it was comfortable, I thought. Against the Derry side, who obviously are struggling. So, what's this here?
And you was having difficulty with our screen, do you ever see when you used to take in now, DVDs? And it used to be like that little glimmer in yoke. Because that's what it might be my internet, but could be that it's on RTE yoke.
Could be, yeah. I don't know, Brian, to be honest. I kind of lost interest in it, to be honest with you.
Absolutely nothing's going to happen to them. It'll be a slap in the wrist, and it'll be all forgotten about next year. I think something that people need to remember is the Premier League went pay-per-view not too long ago. People could believe it, but they still paid the sub, and a year later it was all forgotten about, and people still bought it and watched it. The Super League could have been
Gary Neville crying about great.
I also think the Premier League have a bit of a nerve, to be honest, because, as you say, at a pay-per-view, they were asking during COVID 15 quid or whatever it was to watch Newcastle and Burnley.
Yes.
And the Premier League and Sky, etc., etc.
Get out.
They started all this as such as well. So there's no good guys in it, is what I'm trying to say.
No, there's not. I'm going to be honest with you, lads. I was a Liverpool fan since I was about 3 years old. I was a Liverpool fan, and since the pandemic started, I've stopped supporting them now. But since the pandemic did start, I just lost interest in the Premier League because I just thought
there's nothing wrong with supporting another team and having your League of Ireland team. I
support Celtic. I support Celtic.
Chelsea are my team as well, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just talking about people that they bash the League of Ireland and they say the league's shit and they won't go to a game and they won't watch it and they only support Liverpool. It's their team, but they've never even been there in their lives and they won't even give the League of Ireland game a chance. They're the people I can't stand. But no problem with someone supporting Liverpool and
I fully respect anybody who supports the League of Ireland side. And them will support another club. So I think fair play to you. At least you're going out and supporting your local league. Do you know what I'm saying? But the lads who are going, this is dirt. Why can't, that's a big, I'm not going to lie to you, that's a big win. That is a big, big win.
Yeah. No, it is. It's actually another big result for Shamrock Rovers. If you consider what they did against Drogheda the other week, last kick of the game, they're just grinding at the 3 points. They're simply grinding at the 3 points. Bohs, on the other hand,
I think that Bohs, Eddie, now Mallin's come back and Harry's come back and all that, but
Harry might get. I can't see Harry getting that game. I'll be honest. I really can't. The way Bohs play, they play a pressing game as well. Harry can be a passenger, but all in all, I suppose. Look
at that Rovers.
Yeah, great result for Bohs or for Rovers. Bohs, as I said, Keith Long probably complain about the penalty. It's what you do as a manager. But I do think it was a penalty. I think it red was harsh. I really do. But as Jamie points out there, from a Rovers point of view, that's 10 extra points based on goals scored in the last 10 minutes. That's mental.
No, every game. I do think, bar the Derry game, every game was scored late. We scored late against Shields 89th minute. Scored in the 88th minute against Sligo. Longford we scored in the 97th minute. Tuesday night we scored in the 95th minute against Drogheda. And tonight we're after scoring. Fair enough, it was early enough, but it was still 80 minutes.
But Craig, not only that, but against Sligo, you actually went 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Yes, you went 1-0 down with 4 minutes to go. And you still got results in those games. In fact, the Sligo game, you nearly won it.
like it's not even me trying to be like the BIG when I say this, but it's the sign of champions. It's what champions do,
No,
like.
it is, to be fair. Yeah, no, it is. Absolutely.
And I know people are gonna have it.
There will be a stage of the season where Rovers do start to play actual good football and perform and beat teams 2-3-0 at times as well. But like for Bohs' point of view, like the target is Europe. But I mean, I'm just looking quickly at the table there, and they're 7 points behind Sligo, who play Derry, and I expect Sligo to win personally. They're 10 points behind Pats and Rovers, obviously, but Pats and Sligo would be the two teams that they feel they could kind of catch or beat, let's say. That's a big gap already, Daz, isn't it? It really is. I know it's early, but
And Daz, I'm not trying to like have a laugh when I say that. What is that now? And I don't look. So I know the momentum was one way for Bohs, but what's that now? 5 on the bounce. Like, and that wasn't even the draw on that. That's 5 in the bounce now. You haven't won against us.
Yeah, it is. But before that, it was 10 for us in a row. I think it was eight or 9 anyway.
Like, that's not like even me trying to joke around. It's just that like it does shows like it only takes one win against one club for the momentum to shift like that.
Absolutely, and that's it. Like, and if the penalty wasn't given or if we took our chances earlier in the game, it could have been a different result. Again, it was the same against Sligo. There was 2 chances we had that we could have got a draw against Sligo or a win. Tonight could have been another draw or a win. It's very slim margins for Bohs the last few games that we've been.
Yeah, you did put some point there. It seems to lack that clinical edge at the moment, Bohemians, actually.
Yeah, it's just for me as much as like. People say, "Oh, Georgie Kelly's this, Georgie Kelly's that." I don't think Georgie Kelly's good enough for a big like. And when I say a big side, I mean a big side. I mean like you look at him at Pats last year, Keith. What did he get? 2 goals in the games he played.
I wouldn't even mind the goals. He was very poor. General play was very poor. I do think he's played a better ball so far. I have to admit, but I'm not sure he's really good. We'll see at the end of the season, but
I think though, like for Bohs, right, his whole up play at times has been good. You can see what he's about and what he's trying to do, but we're lacking the wingers to get forward, actually help and support him, and that's a very big issue for us. I think going forward with him, like he's getting up, he's holding the ball. There's no one there, like, and there's huge gaps between the midfield, backs, and the forwards, and it's a collective team issue. I think that's going on with that, but. Hopefully, when we have Malin back and we have Heary back, they might bring something new to the team and maybe bring in that little edge that we need a little bit.
I think Malin would definitely offer something because he's a traditional winger.
I think
so he's something what Steve Long is looking for.
Yeah,
I think if a club like Crystal Palace has someone like Tommy Alua on their radar, like I know Royce as the 23s manager, and that's the club like the way he would have got into Palace. But I think if Tommy comes back from the injury and does, because as much as I've seen, Tommy was great in pre-season for us. Now, I know that the reason he left Rovers was because he was probably going to be fourth choice now. Like, because he was behind Green, Gaffney, Williams, and he was fourth choice. Probably fifth if the rumours, I was hearing rumours at the start of the season that Owen Doyle might have been coming back, but obviously they're dead in the water now that Richie Towell's coming back.
But also Lou can play it wide very effectively, and Rovers don't play wingers.
Yeah, like I say this, I always talk to my mates about this. I love Neil Ferrugia as a player, and if you go back on the programme that Rovers done last year that I was interviewed in, they asked me who was my key player for the season. I said Neil Ferrugia because I thought he was going to do so well. But the only thing that's affected Neil Ferrugia is he's effectively being turned into a left back at Rovers. He's not a left back; he's a left winger. Like you look at him at UCD, you look at him at the 21s. Like he was so effective as a winger.
I think he's. To be honest, I think Ferrugia is probably better off leaving Rovers in many ways to play with a team that plays wingers. But I think if Bohs had Alua and Malin on the wing, I do think they'd look a better team. But my point kind of stands from earlier on before the game started. By the time Bohs figure things out, they could be, you know what I mean? They could be out of maybe a possibility challenging for European place.
Now, there's a comment from Jamie that really I'd agree with so much. I think, and I've said this to you on multiple occasions, Keith, I am a firm believer and admirer of Brandon Cavanagh and the way Brandon plays. I think Brando is probably the most underrated player in that Rovers set. But I know he's not at Rovers at the moment. He's on loan at Bray. And I do wish that, because I know he's not going to come back. I know that he's going to go on and he's going to sign for someone like Bohs or Pats. Or even if Bray come up, he might sign for Bray on a permanent. But I respect that lad because he came through Kevin's, came to us at 15 or 16. So started his first game 2018 or 2019 at 2018 or 17 years old and stole the show. And then now he's thrown to the dirt basically. And I said this before the season, and I fully stand by it. I do believe that, as much as people say, "Oh, Danny Mandrew's raw ability," I do think Brandon Kavanaugh's a better player. And I know that's going to be weird for me to say, but Brandon is an amazing player that just hasn't got the chances took on him yet.
Brian makes a point there. Do you think Kelly should have gone to first division club? Nah, he's still good for the first division though, I have to say, in fairness. To be honest, I know it sounds funny, but a team like Finn Harps would actually suit Kelly down to the ground.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Even the likes of Waterford.
I don't want it for a bit of a mess, really, aren't they? I don't really know. You could well at Bohs, who knows? But I just think for where Bohs want to be, they probably do technically need someone better. But if they did have two wingers, say that, Daz, go on.
That's exactly it. It's about where Bohs want to be. We want to be challenging for Europe. So we're going to need someone who's going to score goals, like the way we had the last few seasons. You had Wright that came in scoring goals. You had Twyra and you have Grant on the wings that were scoring goals. You had Danny Mandrew before he stopped playing scoring goals. The goals not off at the field.
You know what, Keith? I'm after watching that highlight back. Sorry, Daz. I'm after watching that highlight back. I'm not too sure if it's a penalty.
I think it was. I do think it was penalty.
I missed that there. Yeah.
But I get what you're coming from.
Georgie Kelly, I think if he has more support around him, I think he'll come into being a good player. But like what you said earlier, Key, we can't wait till halfway through the season to start getting results and get rid of him. And then there's suddenly a huge point difference, and we're down mid-table or below mid-table, and we should be way up. And that's the difference. We probably would have needed someone better than Georgie Kelly, and we didn't get anyone. We got him.
Used to say that, I know that, but we don't, used to say the Pats and Sligo are going to keep up their form. There's question marks there, if I'm perfectly honest. So we just don't know. Bohs, Derry next week. That's Bohs really need to be starting beating Derry at home. But you don't know. It's early in the season. Pats, I don't think Pats won't go the distance. I question Sligo go the distance either. But so Bohs could still catch those teams, in my opinion.
Yeah, but there's such a huge point difference already that's forming so early on. We have to start making ground right now and getting results right now, and relying on them teams to start losing. And that's a very hard thing to be doing. This early on in the season.
Eventually, though, lads, the top three, at the moment, obviously are beaten. It is only 6 or 7 games in. I think this game week 7. Teams will slip up, and I fully believe, as much as I love saying now, Rovers unbeaten, Rovers at this, Rovers at that. It's probably, I think it's 3 or 4 more games now till we beat the full league record. So now Rovers set it in the 30s. I think it was 33 or 34 games unbeaten. Right. But if that actually happens, I'm happy with that. But I also believe that it will, it's inevitable now for Rovers to lose. Because everybody's looking at Rovers. Rovers are the champions. We know how they play. We had to sit back. And if it does mean that we have to switch up a formation, start playing wingers, I'll be full for it.
They will lose. I find it hard to see them not win the league, to be honest, when all's said and done. But it's kind of funny throughout all this conversation, we're not talking about Dundalk at all, isn't it?
It's because
they don't exist. But at this minute in time, they're 3 points. 3 points.
3 points out. That's laughable, Keith. Out of the 13, out of the 13 games last season that them lads had, I think it was 13. And the 3 or 4 games they had to start this season, what did they have? 16 points?
It's ridiculous. I know that they're a mess. It just shows when a mess because they've got great individual players. They've got brilliant individual players. It's ridiculous. Duffy, McElhenney. If Hubin's missing, Macmillan is their next choice. How many teams would Macmillan actually get into? You get in Bohs' team right now, as an example.
He'd be brilliant for us. He'd be class.
I would argue Craig would get in the Shamrock Rovers team as well, arguably, instead of Green. He's a better goal scorer than Green, let's say.
Absolutely. He's a better finisher. He's a better poacher in the box.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, though. I know something, and I'm just gonna say it out. I know that there was a bid in from Bohs on Dean Williams last year, 40 grand over the off season, and it was laughed off by Rovers. But I do believe that Dino's out of contract at the end of this year, and he's not getting the game time at Rovers. And actually, he's probably the only Gaffney is a great player and all that. Gaffney's getting older. I know he hasn't really proved it at proper Premier Division level. He has proved it in the first division, both at Loan and Bray. But I do believe that if he leaves at the end of the season, he is going to go to Bohs.
I don't know how true that is. Like we don't pay money for players, so I would really question that now.
I'm going to be honest with you. That came directly from a family member of them. That's not from a site or them LOI transfers or LOI things. That came directly from a family member of them saying that if there was a 40 grand offer from Bohs, that was laughed off by Rovers.
But if Bohs had added another, say, 12 grand to that and turned it into wages, we could have got top player in the league for free and paid him $1,000 a week.
Yeah. You look at Macmillan, he was out of contract at the end. Macmillan scored 3 goals in the cup final last year, and 2 days or 3 days after he was out of contract. If you look at it,
that's what I mean. We could have put that money into wages and actually signed someone decent if we're going to do that. So that's why I question that, and I don't believe it, to be honest with you. I'm not saying it's you now. I'm just saying I just personally don't believe that.
Yeah, in general, I get it. But I do think that I think Dundalk are going to implode the way the Cork did. Look, I know that they're saying this and that and owners and it's the owner's fault. It's not the owner's fault. In my opinion, no, I'm lying saying it's not the owner's fault. In my opinion, the main problem at Dundalk now, it's not the fans, it's not the players, it's not even the coaches, it's the Peak Six. It's a vulture fund, and it's been a vulture fund since that. And now Dundalk fans are going to bring up, you were sponsored by Pepper back in the day. Yeah, and I was 11 and 12 when we were sponsored by Pepper. Did I know what it was back then? No. Do I know what it is now? Yeah. Do I agree with it? Look, I don't agree with I have this jersey on me now, and it has an a sport sponsor on it. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with any addiction in any.
The main issue with Dundalk isn't even the P6. It's the man himself, David Hussier. He's after having serious influence on picking the team over the last few weeks and demanding players should play. That just doesn't work. Shane Keegan, before he left, I wasn't shocked at all. He hadn't trained the team. He wasn't involved in training the team the last 2 weeks.
If a man like that wants the goalkeeper to take corner kicks, that should tell you the man knows nothing about football.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be interfering because if that's the case, then it doesn't matter who comes in. Filippo probably wasn't right. But it's irrelevant who comes in if that's the case. It's no surprise to see the teams, the bottom 3 in the league, Dundalk, Derry and Waterford, the 3 clubs that have been in the biggest mess. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Decky left. Was Decky sacked yesterday or did he leave?
Yeah, and even Decky, Paddy McCourt has a serious influence in that club and too much as well. He's part of the coaching team, yet he's involved upstairs.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's conflict all over the place. And they're left with an imbalanced squad because, yes, he's got good contacts, but he's bringing in the players, right? So Declan Devine can't actually say, look, I need this type of player. Like Daniel Lafferty coming in, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but they had Kieran Call at left back. They needed a defensive midfielder, yet they end up with 2 good left backs and no defensive midfielder. That kind of stuff, it does not work. It really doesn't work.
Who should Dundalk get as their next manager if you're going to stay in Ireland?
That's what I'm wondering. Is it really
Jared Little, David Healy,
manager, the way they go on? But I don't know. They need to, whoever it is, they have to change their tune.
They can't get a yes man in because ultimately that's what they've done. Like with Vinny, I know Vinny. I know people who know Vinny. I'm not going to say it. Because me and Vinny are from the same area. Vinny grew up in my area. Vinny is well known around my area. But the way he was treated. And it actually baffled me during the week, the way he was treated by Dundalk up there, and especially by Bill, and then he's coming out and then saying on off the ball this week he wouldn't mind going back up there. That just shows that the man has a love for Dundalk. It's not the love for the money, it's not the love for Peak Six paying his wages, it's the love of Dundalk that he has in him. He doesn't want to see them struggling the way that they are now. He only wants to see them do good.
That's my point as well about a new manager coming in doesn't make a difference because look how well he done with Dundalk, right? The next season, Bill decides to interfere. Results go absolutely shite. Vinny Perk goes. Filippo comes in. Results are shite. what's going to happen? Like, doesn't matter who comes in. Like, I really can't see Dundalk really turning this around. I honestly think there's no chance of finishing in the top 4. I mean, no chance.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest though, I've heard stories now, I don't know how true they are, you know yourself in the League of Ireland with rumours and all that, but I heard stories that from the second and third game in that was writing on the walls about Vinny, that like players were having arguments with him, players were fighting with him, saying that he's not the coach, he shouldn't be there. When Filippo came in, Filippo to me was just a yes man for Bill. Like, they need someone to come in. The likes of Jared Little, because Jared Little done what's a Sligo, to come in and say, no, I'm doing it my way.
Someone to come in who's going to say, right, I'm not going to be a yes man. So it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I can't see how Bill is going to just change his tune all of a sudden, though. That's
true.
I can't see that happening. So if you come in, like Filippo probably came in and thought, good wages, I'll get decent wages here. I haven't really managed the team. I'm going to get good wages. They'll end up sacking me probably. But I'll
just go back to America and do the academy coaching.
And I'll take that compensation.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't do it.
Doing that if I was in this position.
He's going back to the summer camps.
Yeah,
exactly.
I take it up. A manager with a bit of integrity and a manager like a Vinnie Park isn't going to stand for that kind of bullshit. Do you know what I mean?
He's going back to the summer camps to tell the kids that he managed against Arsenal and how good he is.
Yeah, like Vinny was told, this is the team. Who did he play last year in Europe? Was it Cluj or Cluj? That team. And
whatever you call them,
yeah. Yeah, he was told by Bill, this is the team you had to pick. This is the team. This is who starts wearing. Vinny was like, nah, not happening. And he's like, either you do that or you get sacked. And Vinny said, well, right, feck off. It's my team. I'm picking it. And next day he was sacked.
And that's the problem. They might have brought in all these good players and all individually, but how do you fit them into the unit? And if Bill is playing championship manager, or football manager, it's called nowadays, you know what I mean? How the hell does that work? I'm telling you, they're not finishing in the top 4. And start the season, you would have laughed if someone said Dundalk were in.
Yeah, no, genuinely though, Keith, and Daz, you would have seen this as well. I remember I put my predictions into the League of Ireland group chat. I remember saying that we had Dundalk in the 4th or 5th. No, I think I had them 5th or 6th actually, because I think I had Sligo ahead them, Bohs, and someone else. And I remember lads saying, "You're mad, you're mental. What are you on about? Oh, let me guess some of the stuff you're having," because I knew that's going to implode. Like, fair enough, you have your players like Michael Duffy. As much as I don't like the man, you have your likes of your Pat Hobbins. You have great players up there. Chris Shields, the best defensive midfielder in the league, and probably the most underrated player in the league. Like, they have a great side up there. It's just mismanaged. And to be honest,
how long is Duffy and Shields and all these players gonna kind of
stick around, Jared?
I thought Duffy was very stupid last year not to go, Brad. Look, I know COVID and all that.
By the way, maybe that's one of the reasons Thor and Gannon left as well. You know what I mean? There were two men at Dundalk and they've left.
Yeah, maybe I know that.
Shields next season. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I've a feeling. I know that was rumours.
Yeah.
Wasn't there rumours about Chris? Remember when they were talking about everybody being out of contract? Was there rumours about Chris going to use that? That was Chris, Dan O'Kelly, and Cameron Dummigan were the 3 rumoured to be going to Bohs.
There was
they were rumoured.
Rumour going to Pats, but I don't know. You wonder because it's Donald and all that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Keith, I remember me and you texting each other and being like, "Yeah, Pats are linked with half the league. If they sign all of these, they're going to win the league."
2 weeks, Pats were linked with about 20 players, and I'm not even sure if they signed any of them that they were linked to it.
Coughlin was the only player.
A mountain but you're talking about after about 20 players. I was a bit like, what's going on here? McElhenney, Mandrew, Bleeding, Ronaldo.
I heard Neymar was on a swap deal with Ben McCormick. But I don't see any way forward for Dundalk now. No. And I know like fans are going to say, "Oh, you're only saying that because you're a Rovers fan," but no, this is me genuinely a football fan speaking. I can't see any way forward for them with the likes of Bill there.
Not in those conditions. No way.
I think if Bill needs to take a step back, provide a budget to a manager and let him take over the reins and let him manage the team how he needs to manage it, and then Dundalk will probably get back challenging Rovers next season.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that Bill actually take over.
Yeah, the only thing is his son going to sack him? Like, because the son is your man who's the head of Peak 6. So is the son going to tell him to walk away from the job?
Yeah.
See, it's a big mess, isn't it? It's one of those things with investment.
You know what? I'd love if at one stage an owner just goes in and says, "Look, I'm the manager."
Yeah.
Coach of Jim Gilton stand in the bleeding dugout like, I'm going to actually manage the team and just see if they get results.
Roddy, get Roddy.
The team.
Keith, if anybody will do that, it's Roddy Collins. Let me boys, and then we'll manage this.
Yeah. Roddy Collins. I was laughing at Roddy Collins the other day. I think Daz said it to me as well, because he was kind of saying about Kenny or whatever, and I was saying that's a bit rich coming from him, considering he relegated Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, I seen there. I had this big post up in the Republic of Ireland fan forum. It's like, why I believe that Roddy's talking out of his arse. And I was like, he relegated us. He nearly brought Carlisle down. When he came home, he was involved with at the loan that a keeper got done for match for fraud and betting. He was at clubs.
8-0 when he was playing for Waterford to UCD.
Yeah, and then Monaghan. He got Monaghan he brought them to get bust. Like, yeah. Monaghan were stable side before Roddy went in, and within a year and a half he went bust.
I don't know though if Roddy was the actual cause of Monaghan going bust though.
No, maybe.
No. But that's a typical joke around the league for it. That's that we just, if there's anything to take the mick out of Roddy Collins, like, you just find a way. Like, I remember him saying that you created, like, I'm going to be honest, what's your man's, is it Mick? No, someone went in after Roddy. No, before Roddy at Bohs, before Roddy brought in Kevin Hunt and Sparky Rutherford, and he went in and he rejuvenated that Bohs squad, he said, and then I don't know whether Kenny took over after him or Mick Cook took over after him. But
this is about the 2002 era, if I'm right.
Yeah, and I remember Ken O'Man speaking about it, and he was like that Roddy was great and all that, and then he went back. Oh no, sorry, it was, I can't remember who it was, but one of them, Paul Dowler maybe. But he went in and he done stuff with the first class team with Bohs, and then he got brought up to the first team, went back down to the first with Kenny. But he said Kenny revitalised his career. Like, if we're going to talk about, as much as I hate to say it because of the way, it's the right manager at the wrong time at Rovers, in my opinion. Like, he always was going to be the successor, but the same team that he slated the year before for an incident up in Derry, he was going to manage then. That was never going to work out. So I think a lot of Rovers fans were hoping that Gilton would have stuck around and took the job, but obviously he went up north with Mick.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Tell you what, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for coming on. I really enjoyed that. It was a great chat, and unlucky Bohemians tonight. Well done, Craig, Shamrock Rovers. Guys, comment or don't comment actually at this stage because we're finishing up. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification button so you don't miss a video. And fantastic, guys. We'll get you on again, obviously, at some stage again. Cheers, all right?
Nice one. Talk to you in a bit, yeah?
See you later. Excellent stuff. Excellent.